I think we're live. How's everybody doing today? I think we're live. Let me know if you're live. Half the time, I don't know. Half the time, I think I'm live, but I'm not live. But anyway, guys, let me know if my audio is not too loud. Let me know if the music's not too loud in the background. Let me know anything that is an issue. But I'm excited to do this live stream as always because this means that I'm continuing to build my project, and that means I did not quit. And I'm hoping you guys will also continue to build your project and not quit, because at the end of the day, there's many ways to get a job, but having the skill is probably the most important part. And the most important thing you could do is practice building stuff from scratch. I don't know if you saw the latest video I posted with John Smilga, and he literally said, learn a little bit, but then apply it, meaning build something with it yourself from scratch. You did the tutorial, but now let's build it. And that's the whole point of these live streams, is to basically build stuff from scratch and to make sure that we are practicing. The most important part is building things, and then when things don't go our way, we figure out how to solve those issues. We struggle a bit, it happens, but the most important part, we get empowered through this process of failure and solution to feel competent, I wanted to say, and comfortable at the same time. Comfortable, a new word we made up, in being able to create something from scratch. So I am going to show you what we're working on, what we're building. But let me say hi to HT Global. What's up? And before I get to the meat of the show, the most important thing is, like, everybody wants to get hired. But how do we get hired? We get hired by knowing the skill. And how do we build that skill? Is by practicing coding from scratch. And of course, there's a lot of stuff that I still don't know, and I do have to look stuff up. But at least give it an effort to try to do it on your own. So before we jump in too deep into hey, Web Dev Junkie, great to see you. I got a Lumix G85 a while back, like many years ago, and I've been using that. And I guess the difference is, what makes it look all nice is the fact that I have a front light here, so the lighting makes it look better, which is great. But I used to like shoot a lot of my videos on my iPhone, you know what I mean? And again, like a long time ago, I made a video, not for this channel, but just to kind of demonstrate the difference lighting will make. Is I shot same video on my iPhone with bad lighting, and then I made a video with good lighting, and the iPhone video looked like indistinguishable from like this camera or any other camera. But by the way, this was an old iPhone. Like if you have the newest iPhone now, like you could do whatever you want with them, practically. Hey Serge, he says, hi Paul, hi everyone. Yep, hello, welcome to you too. So the point of this stream, by the way, guys, is to showcase that, look, I consistently working on my portfolio project, building the one portfolio project that when people see it, they're going to be like, Jesus Christ, this guy knows how to code. That's the goal. And the reason why I'm doing these live streams is to show you, like, look, if you tuned in 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago, when we started, I think it was literally 10 weeks ago, you would have seen that I started with nothing. And I still probably don't have much, but it's taking shape. So let me show you the current kind of state of the application here. Current state of the application. So let me switch my screen if you guys have questions at any given time. So yeah, pretty simple. And this is based on the mock-up we did. Kind of the simplest functionality I wanted is I wanted users to be able to add a portfolio with a bunch of links to like the live site, you know, to whatever. Then I wanted to add the ability of people who are logged in to be able to like the portfolio that they added. And I didn't implement it yet, but the following step is to add a comment section. So right now, and I decided that you should be able to see the detail without being logged in, because people want to come to the site, they want to check out cool projects you guys are building. So if I go to details, you get this view, you get basic description, basic HTML and CSS and JavaScript side. And this was built a while ago following Brad Travesty, after the things I learned in Brad Travesty's HTML CSS course. But the point is, you get a quick image of what the site looks like, quick description, and eventually I'll make a more detailed section. But you're able to, like, as a user, you have your LinkedIn, I mean your GitHub, your LinkedIn, I put my YouTube, you put your website or your resume site that is connected to your user. So people will be able to be like, oh, I wonder if Paul has a website. Let me click here, and they'll be able to go, oh, Paul does have a website. That's pretty neat. And they learn a little bit more about me or about you as a developer on my side here. They'll get to see your resume, if you have it or not. If I go back to my application, they're like, oh, does he have a LinkedIn? Sure enough, you get to go to the LinkedIn, check it out. Super basic stuff, right? But just information about you as a developer at the fingertips. And more importantly, this is just a quick, kind of like, this is what I made, not too much detail. I'm gonna put like tech used event like eventually, but then people will be able to see the live demo of your site here, and they'll be able to come in and check it out. I have slow internet, so don't mind it. So this is like a basic HTML and CSS site I built. It's responsive, so people will be able to take a look. Again, don't mind my internet. I'm just amazed this live stream is even happening with my internet. So this is kind of like the project I built, kind of a portfolio site. And people will be able to see it, and they're like, oh, I wonder what the code looks like, and they'll be able to go here and click GitHub and be taken to the source code, and kind of they could check it out, like, what did he do? Oh, he used Sass, interesting, and they'll be able to look around. So basically what I wanted to do is a simple idea is to create an easy way for you guys to share your portfolios and have people to be able to quickly look stuff up and be like, oh, do I like this or not? I should put a like button here somewhere too, but people could go in here and like, oh, I like Paul's portfolio, I could like it. By the way, if you want to like it, that means you're making judgments. So I want people that are logged in and users of the website to have the ability to like. So I would have to log in, and I'm gonna log in as myself. And as I log in, now it shows all my previous likes, and I'm able to either like or unlike, right? So we have that functionality. Now, because I'm logged in, I have this button called dashboard. And by the way, Web Dev Junkie, no problem. The reason I do the live stream is so you guys could chat with me. So that's fantastic. So now, like, we have the dashboard here, and when you go to the dashboard, we have very simple form right now, and we're going to look at the code in the detail in a little bit, but first let me just show you the functionality. And so now I'm able to add my projects, and eventually we'll have more functionality, but this is the most basic thing. So, and I had to do some basic form validation, not too crazy, but you shouldn't be able to at least submit the form without providing information. I didn't finish doing choose file. I need to limit it to JPEGs and PNGs. Right now, you could practically upload anything you want, which is bad. And also, I used regex to, I didn't write the regex myself. I just found the code in terms of the test if this is a valid URL, because I don't want you guys to be able to put like random stuff here and then not have it work. So see, it says, please provide proper site URL. And we handling that on Blur to make sure that, when you switch fields, they'll check right away if it's valid or not. So if I wanted to add a project, let's say I have a project that's deployed on my Netlify, I have this COVID time tracker, I want to add it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the live link. I'm going to go to my app. I have too many tabs open. And I'm going to put my live site link here. I'm going to go to my GitHub link for that project, copy that, so you guys have access to the code if you guys are curious and want to see it. I'll add it here. Notice because it's proper format for URLs, it doesn't complain, which is nice. And then here I'm going to put, the name of the application, COVID tracker, and, build using React, displays COVID cases by country, and you could add more detail, and eventually we'll make this more flushed out. And I need to add an image, so let me go. I think I have one in desktop. I have so many random things here. I gotta name things better so I could be like, hey, this is the image I want. Did I even move it here? This is not it. This is not it. This is not it. Oh my God, look at the struggle. Okay. If you see swear words in here, it's because I was really frustrated with whatever I was building. And basically, here you go, we have an image. Basically, name things like I feel sometimes. So once this is complete, I go create project. Because we're uploading a file to our backend, it takes a moment, but then boom, you have your COVID tracker. I'm gonna like it because that's amazing that we were able to do that. I go to details and now I have a basic image of what it was, basic information, and eventually we'll have more, sorry, I went back too far, more things that we will add. But right now, just the most important thing when you're building a project, don't try to get too ambitious. You got to define a scope. And for me, it was be able to add the basic information for a project, have people be able to like that project, and have this ability to link to the live demo, like we could do it here, or to people's GitHub. And so for the most part, this functionality works. And the next step is going to be basically adding the comment section and allowing you guys to add comments. By the way, if you guys want me to add your portfolio to this project, granted it's in development mode still, but just so we have more information and you guys could share your portfolio, you could send me an email at I forgot what I posted on YouTube, but I set up a email that you guys could send it to me, or just share it on Discord. Let me know you want to do it. YouTube, I gotta remember my own email that I created like a few days ago to be like, hey, if you want, basically, it's not only if you want me to put this on the site, but also if you want me to do portfolio reviews to kind of give you my thoughts from some dude on the internet, you could send it to me. So I made a designated, designated email. So, it's easy for me to find. I don't have to look through a lot of stuff. I'll put it in the comments if you guys are interested. It's portfolio, which makes sense, at I can't spell dev.com. Basically, if you want me to review a portfolio, if you want me to post your portfolio on this site, obviously it's in development. Besides you guys, no one's going to see it at the moment, but send me an email there, and Big B420 saying what's up, saying awesome, hey, great to see you here. So now that we see what I did, and if I log out, I could log out. So this is great. This is actually deployed and running. If you're wondering how I deployed this application, let me go over it first. So the front end is a React application that I deployed via Netlify. So I have failed a bunch of times. So you got to make sure that before you do that, you check for errors, which I did, and then I deployed it again. But basically what I did is I pointed my Netlify deployed from GitHub to this community1project.com, so it's easier for you guys to find. If you want to find and see this app, just go to community1project.com. You guys are going to see it live. You could literally check it out right now. It's live. And for the backend, I basically deployed Strappy. That's not where I wanted to go. On Heroku. And for database, I have, let's say, resources. I'm running Heroku Postgres. And I have basic, you don't need it. They have a free version. But I wanted to basically pay a little bit of money just to make sure that, I don't know why. Probably no reason to do so, but I did it anyway. And so that's how I'm deploying the application. So let's take a look at the code. And by the way, before I take a look at the code, one of the things that stops people from building stuff is they get too excited and they make scope too large before they even start. Or they start with a simple idea like this. And by the way, just so you guys know, I'm struggling really hard myself not to fall into this scope creep where you keep adding features. And what happens, your project, your portfolio project gets out of hand from you. And before you know it, you're not able to do anything because you're super overwhelmed. So we had to limit the scope of what we wanted to do to a very, 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 small kind of initial MVP. And let me kind of review that with you guys first before we walk into the code, because I want to make sure that you guys kind of understand this idea that, first of all, when you're making something, you got to have an idea what you want to make. And you have to plan it out, even if it's super unprofessional, like I'm going to show you right now. but you got to have a plan, not just for the basic UI mockup, not just for the database structure you're going to use. Get that already and kind of the functionality that you want. So let me kind of showcase here. So this is basically, if you watch the first stream where we talked about, I basically created this mockup. This was going to be our front end. You know, if you're not logged in, I created a login page to log in. And then I created this basic idea for the front end where you should see the user's information, you know, have a section for comments that's still to add and stuff like that. Notice I didn't include the form to actually create an entry. I decided to do that because I wanted to make sure that users are able to add their own portfolios from the front end, but that's already scope creep. And the basic idea, basic functionality that I wanted to do is for, you know, we have three types of data. We have our likes stored in a database. We have portfolio, like the actual projects that are stored in the database. We have you as a user stored in a database, and our comments. So that's 4 things in our database. And I created very easy steps. Display the portfolio, display user avatar. Like for instance, look, you know, we're displaying the portfolio, we're displaying user avatar, and you know, then we used, you know, React Router for basic routing. We created login page, we created authenticate user, we created this ability to be able to upvote. So now it's like this plan that I made, and I followed the plan, and I'm not gonna deviate from this plan until I finish. So I still have to finish the comment section for this at least first version of the MVP product to be done. So if you start coding before planning, the truth is you're gonna be wasting a lot of time. And I know this because I used to do this all the time, try to build stuff in the code editor, and it would be many hours of wasted time that I want to make sure that you guys are not doing. So whenever you decide to build your portfolio, make sure that you guys are doing some, you know, basic planning. You know, make sure that you guys have some sort of idea. So you should be able to solve the logic for your application on paper, like I did in this example, kind of, even if it's not super detailed, before you actually start coding, because you want to know what you're coding. That's the most important part. By the way, if you haven't smashed the like button, smash the like button for you awesome people that support this crazy live stream and tune in. Like, you guys, such a positive community that I'm like, man, I don't mind doing these streams. I love doing these streams. I love all of you guys coming on these streams, because we're going to get this done together. And so this stream, Tuesday stream, is about building the project. And I do it because I want to show you that I make mistakes all the time. Like last time, if you guys were watching, I was trying to show example in CodePen. You guys were offering help because I was like missing stuff. I was mistyping stuff. And you were guys like really on top of things to give me great advice to move forward. So the point for this live stream is to show that I'm not perfect. I'm not an expert. I'm just like you guys, a student of programming, development, whatever you want to call it, and I am bound to make mistakes. But the one thing that I'm not afraid of is having people make fun of me and hurt my feelings, because I don't have any feelings. I'm Russian, I don't have any feelings, so I won't be hurt by negative comments. And so the truth is, it's like I'm putting myself out there regardless the negativity, because people gonna hate, they're gonna hate, but then, like majority of you guys, super positive, give encouragement, and I want to showcase the reality of what it's like to code on your own, so you guys don't have any misconceptions that, hey, like I'm struggling at programming, maybe it's because I'm not smart enough. No, it's just because it's goddamn hard, and you have to continue on this journey of learning. So there are some people that made it in 3 months. Great for you, but for majority of us, it's going to be an uphill battle of constant studying. And I want to show you that it's okay. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fall down. And so let us go into our code. And by the way, before I go to the code, also, I'm just making these excuses for myself so you guys don't judge too harshly. Like, but this is another important part before we look at the code, is I didn't know this, and it's such a simple idea. Code first to make it work. CS Projects, what's up? Great to see you, my man. So, or gal, sometimes I don't know about these usernames, but welcome. But the funny thing is, I didn't know this, but it's so simple. It's like when you write code, write to make it work first. Don't bother refactoring. Don't bother optimizing. And I'll tell you why this is important, not only in this project, but also when you start interviewing, you might have an hour to complete a task. If you try to write stuff from the very beginning, fully optimized, you might waste a lot of time trying to figure something out that's not even important because your code still doesn't do the thing that it should do. So the most important part when I go to interviews now, whenever question they ask in terms of like code this component, make it do something on screen, blah, 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 I just write the code however I can and make it work. If I make it work, that means I completed the task. And now I could go and optimize if I have time left over. But if you try to write something for complete optimization or whatever, try to make it perfect, the time's gonna run out. And I had that happen to me multiple times. And you didn't finish the interview, you didn't complete the task because the thing that they asked you to do is not being done. And so when you write your code, especially when I write my code for this example, is that I wanna write the code that works. And then I'm gonna go and optimize it as I need to, or refactor it as I need to. And let Gabe equals true. What's up, my man? Good to see you. The more code I learn, the more I realize the computer programming is 10% code, 90% frustration, 100%. And the more I learn to code, the more dumber I feel because I realize the things that I thought I knew, I actually don't know anything about it. And that's the sad reality that comes with coding. But that's why we have this live stream, to be honest with each other, to encourage each other. I want to be the most positive channel to motivate you guys to not quit regardless of how hard it gets, because at the end of the day, if you like it, it's totally worth it. So, bro, that is awesome. I got an offer today for almost 90K a year as a mid-level. It's my first job. I have been teaching myself for 2 years now. That is fantastic. That is amazing. And these are the stories I want to hear, because if you put in the work, no, thank you for your support. If you put in your work, you guys gonna get there. You guys gonna make it. You guys gonna get there. It just takes work. And this is why I don't mind embarrassing myself on live, showing you the stuff that I do. Hopefully it's educational, somewhat entertaining, you know. And the most important part, we have the comment section for a reason. We have the comment section for you guys to be able to ask any questions about anything. So let me show you the structure of my code first before we take a look at the form here. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So this is a basic React application. I decided to go for React at the beginning. I know Next.js is super popular, but I wanted to go through React. This actually part of the application is going to be more of a back-end dashboard where you as a developer will be able to log in, add your projects, manage your projects, and stuff like that. And then in the future, if I want it to be something that's SEO friendly, you know, there's ways of making React SEO friendly, but if you wanted to make it SEO friendly, but also like really fast and responsive, more so than React already is, you could use Next.js. And actually, after we complete this project, we're going to do exactly that. We're going to make a front-facing application with Next.js for this as well. And then why stop there? We could do the same thing and create a, React Native, complementary app. And that way we have all our bases covered. But look, I'm getting too excited again. But most important, like, start with one project and work it to completion. So here's the code. So we have the folder we're interested in is in our source. And source is basically where our main application lives. And unlike using regular REST API endpoints, I decided to work with Apollo. And so our index.js file here, doesn't matter what is inside here, we'll take a look later. This is basically our basic setup file. We have our components folder, which is basically all the components I made that I'm using in this app. We could look at those in detail later. We have contacts because I decided to put user into contacts. And the reason why I'm using contacts, because for little things like where the state is not too crazy, I mean, I could have even used local storage, which we're using local storage to kind of be able to replenish contacts. Actually, let me show you how contacts works here. So we're using contacts instead of Redux because Redux would be overkill for here. But basically, I set up a basic user context, and what I do is, I wrote this little code here in use state. If we have a user in local storage, take that user and populate our contacts with the user if the user exists. And if there's no user that exists, if after we log in, set our local storage to that user that just logged in. And then we're just returning that to our context provider, and we are wrapping our application in our user context. You see, user provider, and that gives us access to be able to use that, you know. And so that's kind of what I did there, and I'm just giving you an overview. I have a section here for hooks where you write custom hooks. So to get data from the form, and we'll revisit this in a little bit more detail today, I wanted to write a hook just in case if I have multiple forms, I don't want to rewrite the functionality 1,000 times. So I created this use form custom hook that you could use in the form that we currently have, and then in any other form. And if you have questions about any of this, I am here for you guys. And then for pages, I decided to kind of make different files for pages. There's a bunch of different ways to like organize, and I like this from Next.js. This is how they do it. They have pages. So I was like, you know what, let me do it in React. So we have our login page, which has our login form. We have our home page, which is the page that you see that displays all the projects. We have our detail page, which displays, you know, the detail section that we saw. And we have our dashboard page, and this is where we're going to spend a lot of our time here. This is where the form lives that you're able to add projects to our application. So if I go to React, let me go to my local version here. Let me log in. This one is now running locally. I don't remember. I have so many different users. Yeah, so this is my local one. So dashboard, this is where the form is. This is what we're going to talk about doing form handling and in React, and kind of that's what we're going to review today, or any other question you guys have, we're going to review. So let me go back here. So what you see here, this is what lives in our dashboard component. So now that we know where we're spending our time here, I'm going to quickly run through the code, tell you what everything is. If you have questions about anything, we could talk about in detail, and then we'll go over the form logic. And if you see these form components, right, it's not using the native HTML, is because I'm using React Bootstrap, which basically gives you React components that allow you to quickly, you know, build a UI application with Bootstrap styled React components. So it's a cool little library. Again, the reason why I'm using it is because I don't want to spend eternity writing CSS from scratch. So, you know, like, oh, I need to use a form. So you go here, and then they show you their form components. So you see this code looks very similar to what we have here in our application, just if you guys are wondering. So I'll start at the top here and kind of go through this. So because we want to set initial state for our form, which is going to display our initial field. Actually, let me just switch this so it's easier for me to go back and forth here. Go to this here. So notice how this has nothing. It's blank and blank, 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 blank. It just has the placeholder text. It's because we're using this initial form state to set our form. So here's where I declare the state. No, I'm sorry, not there. No, it's here. And the reason why it's like this is because I just told you I was using a custom hook and I forgot about it. So I'm passing initial form state to my custom hook, and our custom hook sets that state. See, we have our state here. We set our state with that initial form state, and then we return fields via use form hook. See, this is the same thing returning from our use hook form, and we're populating our form with that data. Because it's an object, you have fields.name, fields.description, and if I'm going too fast, let me know. Fields.getURL, and basically all that is coming from here, initial state. So if I just type random stuff here, you know, and go back to my screen here and refresh, notice what I just typed in that initial state is what comes here. Obviously, I don't want to have it pre-filled, so I'm going to make it blank again. Make it blank again, right? So that's kind of where that's coming from. Oh. And the reason why I put it in a variable is because I wanted to make it super easy. If you notice here, I have the reset button. Like for instance, if I want to reset it to its original state, I just click the reset button. And what it does, it's basically will call the reset fields function from our hook, our reset field function that we're passing from our hook. And our reset fields basically takes and puts whatever we pass here into our fields, which is our initial state. And that's how the reset button works for us. So let me go to the comments so we don't get too far again. Wow, there's a lot more comments. I realized that my goddamn thing wasn't scrolling, so it's my fault. And CS Project says, I applied for a job that requires 3 years of experience. Yeah, you gotta apply regardless of what the experience says, because you never know if you're gonna get hired. So I'm glad that you didn't let that 3-year experience mambo jumbo in their description scare you. Yeah, everybody's saying congrats. That's definitely life-changing. Yeah, Coder Foundry does have, if you do their like self-paced course that they have, that I actually own, and I showed you a couple other streams, they're really good. Yeah, they do cover good bootstrap stuff. The difference here is a little bit different how you would, I mean, it's not that much different because I'm using React Bootstrap. It would be a little bit different implementation. But if you know Bootstrap, it doesn't matter if you code in C#, if you code in React, if you code in like Python, like when you're writing your HTML and adding those Bootstrap classes, it's the same. What's up, my man? How you doing? And so Web Dev Junkie, good question. What is the backend written in? So I decided to go with Strappy. So this is my backend API, and basically what I used is Strappy. And the reason why I wanted to use Strappy is because if you're an idiot like me and not a good backend developer, you could gently ease yourself because you're able to create a very easy API with Strappy. It literally, Strappy name comes from this idea like bootstrap and API put together, so you get Strappy. So you're like bootstrapping an API and literally design API fast and manage the content easily. This is true to a point, unless you need customization, which I'll talk about in a second. But basically, it's very easy to get started. I don't know if you have had used Strappy, but for anybody who's starting to learn development, unless you're specifically going to backend, I don't recommend trying to learn everything at once because there's a lot to learn. So what I what I decided to do is just master React as best as, or at least get competent enough or be job ready with React. But I also want to have this concept of a API or a backend, but instead of writing it myself, I use something like Strappy. And if you go to their docs, they're very nice, very easy to get started. You could literally set up a backend, you know, in 15 minutes. You run this quick start command. It sets you up with local SQL light database. I did mine with Postgres, and you basically could start creating endpoints. And to show an example here, I'm using GraphQL, but the REST API endpoints are still also open, so I could, you know, I don't use them, but just to show example, like if you hit projects endpoint, it's going to show you all that data. It also allows you this idea of using GraphQL. So I have GraphQL connected, so I'm able to basically, you know, write wrong stuff with like GraphQL and make queries here. And so this is why I like Strappy, because when you're learning, you're able to build something where you learn about REST API and how REST API works, and then someone's like, oh, I want to figure out how to be able to use GraphQL on the front end, and so Strappy allows you to do that. Another one that I just learned about, yes, there is definitely a way to set up permissions on endpoints, and I believe like they have like the basic out of the box stuff, which you could, it's like all or nothing. You either have access or you don't. But if you wanted to do custom stuff where it's like, if you're a certain user and you want certain permissions, you need to write that logic yourself. But they make it like very easy.
Because I'm using GraphQL, it's not as straightforward, but if you were setting it up as REST, basically they have, like, I'll use this as an example. This is a project. This gets automatically generated by Strapi. If you go to controllers here, you hit projects that I open here. This code right here, I wrote custom. Like, for instance, you could add custom functionality to Strapi to add additional things. Like, for instance, I wanted to make sure when someone creates a project, they always start with 0 count. So you can't, like, through the API pass, I want 30 likes already when I start. No, if you create a new project, it will automatically have 0, and I want it to happen on the back end, so you can't override it. But I don't have an example here, but if I wanted to, you could create a separate folder here called permissions, and then you could write permissions, and I'll actually show you in their documentation. So there's actually a lot you could do. Strapi, let me go to Google. Strapi policies. And with REST API, it's fairly straightforward. When you're using GraphQL, it becomes a little bit, less easier. But let's see, I'm just going to scroll to where they have it. Policies. So they allow you to create custom function. You create a folder. .config policies is and whatever you want to call it in your folder. And then you create this function, and you basically write your policy that you want. You check for user, and then you write logic that determines what that policy is. And then you're able to write in your router folder, you add the policy that you want to implement on that particular endpoint. And whenever you hit that endpoint, it will check this, and it'll see, oh, it's asking if user's authenticated, and before anything runs, it's going to come here and it's going to run whatever logic you put here. So if you're checking, if the user has access to the data they want to access, you could either say yes and return yeah they do, or no and fail and return an error message that says they're not ready. I'm kind of trying to quickly explain how it works, but without doing like a super long-winded answer than it already is. But at the same time, yes, the short answer is yes. It allows you to do endpoint specific routes. And if you look at the example here, if I go to my config and go to my routes, you see here this is blank, and you could add, like, for my projects route is off, and you could create that policy yourself, implement it in code, and you'll be all set. Unfortunately, with GraphQL, it's not as straightforward, but it's also possible. But that's what I'm sticking with. So I hope that was a satisfactory answer. Hey, that's awesome. Your CS project. I'm currently building a free online learning platform to help people upload their projects, blogs, tutorials, and also find best resources to learn coding. I use React, Strapi, PHP, and MySQL. That is awesome. Very similar to what we're doing here. It sounds though you're going to have a lot more complex functionality that we are here, but that's amazing. If you have it deployed and you want to share it, throw us a link in the comments. You might have to write it out like .com rather than actually using the dot or whatever you saved it as, because I don't think it lets us share links. I don't know, I haven't tried, but we definitely would love to check it out. So yeah, let us know. So I'm curious, if you're using Strapi, why are you also using PHP and MySQL? Or are you actually connecting to two different databases? You have something that is powered by Strapi, and then you're using something that is pulling stuff from PHP database. I'm kind of curious how you're making that, why you decided to do that. Obviously it's possible and it's good. So let's come back to the form code. So let me if you guys have questions, definitely ask and show. And I know a lot of times, sometimes people don't like to look at code. I get it, but this is the stream. It's all about code. It's about me try to kind of show you what I'm building And if you see something you don't understand, definitely ask questions. That's why this stream is live. And I forgot I had tea. Let me take a sip of tea. Yeah, by the way, like to CS Project's point there. Okay, so he used PHP and MySQL just for user authentication. Yeah, that's awesome. And to his point here and my point here, what I like about React is that you could create front end that doesn't care what endpoint you create. You could literally create PHP and MySQL powered React application, or you could use Strapi, or you could use Node.js. In my last job that I had, we had our backend built with C#, and this is why I'm a big fan of building decoupled application. And the reason why I'm saying this is once this application is complete and I'm like, you know, I use Strapi, I outgrew Strapi, I want to build an API from scratch, I could go ahead and do so, and I don't have to rebuild the front end. I could just make sure that the front end and the data that it expects is the same data I returned from the new API I built. So, you know, that's why I like it, because I don't have to rebuild, you know, the front end. I just use the same front end, and that's amazing. And so building decoupled applications like that, I think it's cool. And he says most of the blogs, tutorials, and live projects are stored on Strapi. Yeah, awesome. And hey, Hologram Nunchucks, hey, good to see you. Yeah, guys, always great to have all of you guys. If you haven't smashed the like button, smash the like button for everybody that's here. And remember, I am here to not just talk about random stuff, which I do a lot, but I'm here to also share about what we're building, encourage you guys to build your own thing, and then answer questions that you have. And it doesn't even have to be about my code. It could be about anything that's of value. But let me kind of show you kind of this, the way the form works. And then I also have a simpler form that I built a while ago that we could also take a look at, that's going to kind of show you that there are similarities, because when you build a form, you literally follow the same type of kind of patterns with React. And when it comes to form validation, there's the easy way and there's more complex way. I chose like the most basic way for now, and then eventually if I need to do something that's more complex, we could do that. And I'm kind of looking for another form example that I have that's also written in React, just so you guys could kind of see the similarities. Yeah, that's a good point. This is kind of exactly what I was talking about. It's very important to try to keep the scope of your application light at the beginning and just kind of build one feature at a time. And the only reason I know this now is because I have in my GitHub like 40 projects that I started and never finished, because the scope like got too ahead of itself and I was too intimidated and just was not able to stay motivated because I was overwhelmed with the amount of features I had to implement. And that's why in this application, we're keeping it super, super simple. So let me show you like a more basic form first. So this is a form I built with React, and I use style components, which is okay. But basic idea, you know, you have your form and you have your inputs. So let me make it bigger here. You have your inputs. And even though this looks like HTML, this is actually JavaScript. It uses create React. Like, what was it? Like, I forgot what the thing is that I haven't used it. Nobody writes it like create React or React component or whatever under the hood. Anyway, no, like I guess I could try this. I'll show you here. Like you could see that under the hood, it's all like JavaScript. You could go try it out. So for instance, I'm gonna put some. Why am I so zoomed in here? Okay, I'll go here. So I put my React code here. Yeah, create element. So it uses React create element, and literally at the end of the day, even though this looks like HTML, it's JavaScript. And so you could literally rewrite this by writing React create element, input type text, name user, placeholder, icon, then you pass whatever you want. But React and Babel by magic makes it easy for us. So let's go back here. So at the end of the day, this is React, or I would say compiles at the end of the day to JavaScript. And I don't think it's a mistake. I mean, it's just going to add additional work, but it's a lot of work when you're writing custom CSS throughout like your whole application. That's why I say, you know, build it with Bootstrap. You know, yeah, that's a lot. 4K lines of code. That's insane. So here's the thing. You bring up like a really good point, and we'll come back to our form example in a second. You bring an excellent point. It's like if you're like one development, look, like he wrote 4,000 lines of code. If you're a single developer, and then you spend too much time refactoring. This is why I tell you, build it to work first and then worry about everything else. And I used to make that same mistake. Like when you're making little projects and you're learning CSS, you should of course write your CSS yourself. But when you're working on a big project that has a lot of moving parts, like you're working, like the goal for us in this project is that you're going to get overwhelmed really, really quickly. If you're one person working on your project, you don't have help, you need to leverage, you know, third-party libraries like Bootstrap or whatever you want, just to make things easier, even for some of the functionality. Not in this example, but I remember on one of my prior examples, we needed to make a crazy data table that needs to be draggable. It needs to have searchable fields. And yeah, I could make that myself, but it'll take me forever. So instead I use AG-Grid, which is a great library. Let me actually show it to you guys. So if you guys are curious, but I use AG-Grid, which is a third-party table library that gives you all this functionality out of the box. Look at this. You're able to drag stuff super easily. You're able to search stuff like easily. You have checkboxes, you have highlights, you have individual. And why code this yourself if you're like a one team developer, you're by yourself? Just use AG-Grid. I worked for a company where they spent months working on a custom table, which wasted a lot of development time because that was months that they weren't deploying their application. And I told them they should use something like AG-Grid, and they're like, no. And you know what? I left that company. It's been 4 months. They still haven't deployed their application. And where I'm working, I'm building projects by myself. I'm not afraid to rely on third-party things, like make sure that they're legitimate things, that they work and they're commonly used. But I'm closer to releasing the application that I'm working on my new job than I was 2 years ago at the old job. You know what I'm saying? So that's very, very important. So let's come back to the form example. So when you're writing inputs in React, this looks like traditional like HTML stuff, and it gets passed, you know, to the tradition. When this gets let me go here, like inspect element. Like if I inspect my input field, it's going to pass that data. See, it says name, username, type, text, placeholder, username, all that great stuff gets passed into it. And what we're more concerned about is here we have our value and on change. So for you to connect your input to state, you need to do it via this value prop, and basically you pass your state here. And then to change state, it just doesn't magically change. You need to have an onChange prop, and then you pass your function handle field change that handles that. So you could see the logic here, using my set form data state that I declared on top here. See here, set form data state. And my handle field change, it basically takes previous state, it gets the name attribute from the input. So if it's text, this is going to be text, and whatever the value is from the event. So I could do console log here. event, I pass it as the event.target .name, and then event.target.value. So this is what we're receiving from the actual input. So let me open my console here, if you guys can see it. So if I start typing here, notice how username, it's the name of the field. You see username, and then the value is the value that's coming from the set state that we're calling. So the handle field change, we are setting that here, the eTarget.value, the value that we get, we're setting it into our state, and then we're getting it and passing it to our value, and that's what gives us that data back. So as I type here, you know, that's what this populating. If I remove this, my form is going to break. It's not going to work. Well, I have to save and refresh. So see, I broke it. You need to be able to, you need to make sure that you create that two-way binding by passing, or one-way binding to pass the data back into the component. Anyway, let me unbreak it and then go back to the actual code that I want to show you. But the most important thing that you guys should have kind of noticed is this idea of, we have your input and we have value and unchanged, and that's how we are controlling the state of our form. And I think it was username, and then bam, our form is fixed. Let me save, and perfectly. And so this allows us to add data to our input, basically sets. Let me look at the hey, thanks, man. He says, I like your form. You know, I think I like my form. It's amazing the way that you set up your form, our form. I do exactly the same thing. I like that. And I think it's like very similar patterns. I think there's, you know, bunch of common patterns that people use, and that's kind of what you want to do when you're setting up. So let's go to our code of the actual stuff we're doing. And so I showed you that example exactly for that reason, because you see the pattern is the same. We have our value and we have our unchanged. For the error handling here, Bootstrap allows, or React Bootstrap allows you to pass required flag, where if the data is not entered, basically it's going to say, hey, you need to add the data. So if I'm here at my application, right, if I say create project, look, please fill out this field. The reason this is complaining is because in my code I added this flag. If I remove this flag and let it refresh, now when I create project, look, it doesn't complain, right? Because this is no longer required. So if I want to make it required again in React, specifically using React Bootstrap, you put required. Now, this just basically checks if the valid, you know, like if this is, let's say, a email, you know, and it will check basic, like is the email valid, whatever. Because this is a text field, this required only checks if there's data exists or doesn't exist. So in this case, you know, let's say if I only want to allow letters only, but I do letters and numbers, and I hit create project, it's not going to throw a error here. So if you want to add additional error, like checking outside of what is pre-built in basic HTML, you want to basically go ahead here and set up custom error handling like I have here. I'm passing, if this is true, then it's gonna like show this that this is not valid. So if I just hard code true here, just so you guys could see, when I go back, I see this throws an error. And so basically what I'm doing here, get error is actually coming from our state that I created to keep track of our errors. So here's the state that I set. We pass initial errors, which is basically everything is good, there are no errors. And then I created this validate error function that checks you know, whatever logic I wrote. So here it's checking, does the value equal to a valid URL? And then basically I created this function check URL regex, which basically, where's that function? Here. It basically checks if the URL that I pass here based on this regex expression is it true or false. And then if it's true, it'll return an error. If it's false, it won't return an error. So that's one way to add custom errors. And then basically if there's an error message, it will show it here if there's an error. But let me come back to the comments because there's one excellent comment here. I always like using on key down event on my form so that users can easily use the enter button on the keyboard to go down, and that is actually a good idea. So what he's referring here, and I think it's not gonna break anything, I could put here instead of on change on key down, and I think this would work the same. Which one is this? GitHub link. So handle set field. So for me, hold on, let me look at it. I heard about people using it and doing it, so I myself haven't started using it. I did try it out in a JavaScript example. That's kind of where I recently learned about it. So by the way, let's do this. On key down versus on change React. So a lot of times when you guys on key down, on key up, on click, on change, so you could look stuff up and kind of read. So on key down will be as soon as the keyboard is pressed, the event is triggered. That makes sense because it's in the name. On key down. But I'm curious why it didn't work on my example where I decided to use on key down to unchanged, because I'm assuming it gets the same access to the event. So we could always play around with this. So let me do this. I'm just gonna copy and paste it. Test name new. Oh, I see why. Because I wrote all my logic in my custom hook. Let me just do. I'm gonna do this. Oh my god, this autocomplete BS. Set test. And we want to pass e dot target dot value, and we get it from here. Oh my god, what is this autocorrect doing? Set test e dot target dot value. And then let's write a function here. Let's add that state. So I'm basically just testing out, because it didn't work when I just switched it, but it should have worked. So I'm assuming it's because I'm using a use controller and I'm doing some additional logic there. But in theory, it should work. So let's go test it out. Yeah, so it works fine. So it must be because I added an additional layer. Yeah, and then when you hit enter, it allows you to continue. And I believe it works the same way when I change too. But I think like using on key down makes sense, and I think like moving forward, I'm gonna start using it in the form. So Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, so thanks for bringing that up to our attention, and that's pretty cool. So I just made it work here. I think like you just it gets the same value, either target that value, so it's perfectly fine unless you're setting it up specifically to use useRef without using state. So I just connected it to state. Where is it? So here's my state where I set my state, my getter, and my setter, and I'm literally on key down calling it directly. Where's that test form? So you see here. Oh, I'm an idiot. I didn't even do it yet. Let's check it out. You might be right. On key down. I thought I put on key down here. Complete idiot here. Let's see. You might. Yeah, so I think that's actually a great point here. That's actually a great point. I think is on key. Maybe that's why we use unchanged, because in React it behaves similar to on key down. And then if you use on key down in React, you might have the only way to use it. Oh, I'm not sharing my code. Thanks. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Big B420, for yelling at me. So here's what I was talking about. Like I was saying, like, oh, it's got to work the same. So here's the test example that I just wrote, right? Unchanged, and I'm setting state directly. Here's my state. Here. This is the state. And then with unchanged, you see my field works. I am getting that available to me. And then when I change it to on key down, so on key down versus unchanged on vanilla JavaScript, 100% works. And that's because that's where I just learned about the example where I used it. And curiously enough, on key down event, when I change it to on key down, let me refresh this, notice my form no longer works. And so let me just kind of do this. Oops. And to see if we have access to our event via this method. So, because to be honest, I've never seen anybody use on key down without using refs, and maybe that's the reason why. Or maybe I'm a complete idiot. It could probably be like I'm a complete idiot. That's okay. Key. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe, okay, I see. Maybe then it's not. The reason why it didn't work is because on unchanged we have e.target.value, and then I'm assuming it's gonna be e.key. Hey, we're learning something every day. E.key. And see, I'm learning something new every day. And let's see if that worked. Okay, so we getting the key. So I'm curious, so I'm able to get you see, like every time I type stuff here, I'm able to get the state of the key. So you're saving the value to use ref. Because I have access to the element here directly using set state, but set state, the way this works, it's getting one key at a time. So I wonder if we do this, set state equals previous state. I don't know if this is gonna work, to be honest, but you gotta experiment. Was it plus equal, or yeah, plus equal or equal plus? Plus equal, I think. I'm just trying random stuff now at this point because I'm curious. Key dot, event dot key, or e dot key, because that's what I put. Now, and I totally see it working with use ref. I'm just curious to see if it's possible to make it work without ref. So reset. What's the complaint here? You provided a value prop to form field. Oh, okay. Where did I put value? Oh, I see what you mean. That's why it's complaining. Yeah, so that okay, so this is very interesting. So you provided a value prop to a form without an change handler. If this should be mutable, use default value or use an onChange. So yes, so if you are going to use on key down, and that's why I see why it's not so common. Like in majority React forms, by the way, if you looked at all the tutorials, if you look at all the different classes that you see online, they all use onChange. And I guess unless you have a specific reason to, yeah, let me try that, by the way. That's a good idea. And so like that's why you have to use use ref, because you don't have the value prop here. But oh, I see what you guys mean. But like on change, for instance, if you're going just for that functionality and enter to go to the next field, that already automatically happens without the, I believe, without having on key and having it to check enter. Because anytime you like, let me go back to onChange. Unless I'm totally confused, but if that's like the only reason, yeah, the goal is to get elements like in JavaScript. No, I got you. I think though, like you have a very specific reason, and I'm gonna look into it like much deeper. Like I don't know why you should have onChange and on key down. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know enough about using both. Like for instance, I'll show you like example here. I guess it's because you're testing a specific thing. But what are you testing on key down? For instance, like I'll show you here, notice how I have onChange, but I'm running my error function on blur. And it's probably going to be very similar to like the reason why you guys like, okay, I have on key down and I have on and onChange. But for me, onChange on its own is perfectly fine, because the idea is like if, and maybe I'm misunderstanding you in the comments, but I'm assuming you're saying that you want to use on key down because you want to be able to hit enter to go to the next field. And I believe this is already the functionality here. So if I click enter, well, because I have checks here, let me not make it required here because data is required, but just to kind of show you here. I think that like unless like if you click enter, it's going to go to the next field regardless. And I'm not sure if that's the only reason why you did it. Probably not. I'm just misreading the comments. But if I hit enter here, okay, I see what you mean. So it skips this one. So you want, okay, but it still doesn't make sense because it would go to the next event anyway. Anyway, I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research. Yeah, but you were supposed to be able to go to the next but I see what you mean. It skips it. Like for me here, it skips it. So I do get that functionality. Like let's go to my CodePen example. So if I hit enter, yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, so that makes sense. And so let me do this then. So that makes perfect sense. So I think in my case, the fact that it was moving down to the next field on enter was just, it was not doing it consistently. And because I'm using on change, you want to use on key down, and let's do it React example. No, I get what you're saying, and it makes sense. I've never used on key down outside of JavaScript. And so this is the example that they provide. So input equals text. Yep, on key press. And this is like old school handle press. And then they have if the key equals enter. Okay, that's not the good enough example. So, okay, on key down event handler on input field gives focus to a button when spacebar key or enter key is pressed. Depending on the browser, it will emit a click event on the button. So when you click enter, okay, they should have put more fields. Okay, so that, again, they're not using functional components. That's okay. We should all be familiar with class-based components. So input, check. Oh, that's the checkbox. There's the input. This state, capture, enter. No, hold on a second. Where's that? We're going for this one. On key down, this handle key down, they're passing E. Handle key down. So they wrote their function on the bottom. So handle key down. Yeah. Let's look at like another example. I want more of a let's look at this one. No, that makes sense. Actually, I think that would be a better experience as a user, just like you said, to be able to. Oh, I realized I wasn't sharing the code. I was showing examples. Sorry about that, guys. I'm kind of like was enthralled in this using on key down event, and see, I love the fact that you guys, man, awesome. I love the guys that you guys are talking about code, and that we're actually discovering, or I'm discovering something new and why it didn't work and why it did work. So web dev junkie. So in React, I always use, let me put your comment up. I always use unchanged in the forms. And so what CS Project says, and I've seen this before, but I myself haven't used it. I've done it in JavaScript, but I didn't realize why I've done it. I just like followed some tutorial. But they're saying that on key down, you're basically able to create a behavior where whenever you hit enter, it moves down to the next input field. And so you don't need a mouse or clicking the tab button to go to the next field. So you're able to add that behavior. Now, I assume that unchanged already behaved like that. So if I have a form with a bunch of input fields, whenever I fill out the first input and click enter, I thought that it automatically goes to the next item. That's what I assumed. So that's kind of like why we're kind of having this discussion about using on key down event in forms to kind of simulate that JavaScript functionality rather than using onChange. But to me, I've yet to see someone use onKey down in React. I'm sure, CS projects use it. I just recently ran into this, so I know people use it, but it's interesting. And I think like the argument for better user experience to what they're used to, for instance, navigating through the form without using a mouse, makes sense to me. But I haven't tried onKey down that much, so that's kind of what I'm exploring now. Yeah, Enter should submit the form if you want to file accessibility. And that's actually kind of like what I've been doing, not because I'm smart, but just because from all the tutorials I've seen, they use onChange and they do make Enter basically submits the form. And that's kind of what I took as law, but I totally see also the other side of the coin if that's what people want. So I guess like for me, if you have a specific use case that is required for your application, do what makes more sense to you. But at the same time, like I'm going to explore onKey down just so I could understand it better and understand like how to use, like I used onKey down events before, but not in the sense like in the form, So this is interesting. Like I'll probably continue to use onChange, and that's probably fine. But I like the fact that we're having the discussion about this, and I like the fact that it shows that there's many ways to do something. And this brings another like excellent point, and web dev junkie, and like you say one thing, CSS project says one thing, and you're both right. And I would say that it depends on what your use case is. But then the more important question is, what are the common accessibility behavior that people expect? And at the same time, because I suck at accessibility, like I'll be honest, I'll tell you this. I bet you like it has, let me check. I think it doesn't have target. Let me see if it has current target. Let me do like a, back up here. onKey down, let me just not worry about that right now. Yep, I was gonna complain about that. Right now it's fine. Oh wait, I need to put, for now it's not gonna work as expected, but I need to put something, otherwise it's just gonna be broken. Oh, hold on a second. So what do we have here? So it has current target. Yes. Does it have target? No, it doesn't have target. So it has current target. And thank you, CS Projects. I appreciate it. Yeah, maybe that's what I should have used, because I tried to use, let me do e.current target. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I use onChange all the time. I know onKey down is a thing. I use it not specifically in forms, but at the same time in vanilla JavaScript, I saw someone make an argument why onKey down was better than using onChange. I just didn't pay enough attention to what it was, and so I'm really curious to figure out. And probably in vanilla JavaScript, it is a better option, but I don't know enough about it to make that decision. So that's why I'm having this discussion with you guys to figure this out. And at the end of the day, it's like, doesn't matter who or what anybody feels. I just excited that I'm actually learning something today, which is amazing. All day, every day. The key property important to use. I just like want to test things out. I realize I'm not sharing my screen here. Like an idiot. Paul's an idiot, doesn't want to show people. So like I just kind of did this bunch of times. Yeah, so it does use current target, and I bet we could probably do current target.value, I'm assuming. Yeah, so we get the current target, but then you have to So I know that like what people used to do, like we used to do on change, and then we'll do on focus and on blur. And then we use all three of those to make stuff happen. And so I guess yeah, but I haven't played with on key down. Like it gets the key and then like figuring out how to save it to state without using use ref. And when I try to type to find some on key down examples, a lot of them are done in the old way using class components, which is fine. But right now I'm looking through the documentation in React docs. Form events, we have on change. Even in the React documentation, they're using on change. Right. Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm an idiot. That's why I got you guys. Yep, see? This is why you see only one character. Makes sense. I forgot to do that. It's still gonna complain. Because it says if you use the value prop, you need to use on change handler. And I'm assuming you use ref to, in your case. I mean, if you have a example of how you implement it in your input field, you could, like, you don't have to do it right now, but you could email me at codingafter30@gmail.com because I'd like to kind of understand this better. And like, I definitely appreciate all your help. And right now I am looking at where we are here. I'm kind of looking at the React documentation, and in their form examples, they're using on change, and I'm trying to look up if they have an example of search on key down. Forms, control components, yep, handle change, on change. Yeah, they don't even have a on key down example in their own goddamn documentation. Come on, React. I'm curious. I want to know. Why aren't you telling me, React? You're hiding the truth from me. Yeah, their typical pattern is this is what I see. And yeah, anyway. Yeah, that'll be awesome. Thanks so much. So update like normal on change, but on key up, enter change focus. Okay, cool. Good to know. So yeah, I'm gonna check out CS projects example, and I'm gonna, like in CodePen, try it out. I'm just curious, to be honest though, why on key up React form example. I'm just surprised why not too many examples. This is one example on key press. Yeah, I'm curious though. Now here's one. This is exactly what we did. So they're using this dot search on key up. This dot search. Yeah. Anyway, so I'll look more into it. I don't want to like kill the whole kind of stream on trying to figure it out, but I am definitely curious. I'll be definitely looking at your email, and I think that'll be good. So nice. So let me kind of come back here to the code, undo all this stuff. I could just do this. All right, so we know that you can use on key down event. We at least learned that much on today's stream, which is super exciting, and we're gonna try it out. By the way, if you haven't smashed the like button, smash the like button for all the amazing comments and questions and suggestions we're getting. So here's another thing that I learned. I don't know if you guys knew. So if you wrap your form group in field set, I don't know if you guys knew that, because I just learned this like 3 days ago. And you have like a prop here loading. So if it's loading true, it will disable all your fields. So check this out. Hold on, this is already fine. So if you want to disable all your fields, look, I'm trying to click, nothing works. When you're processing the form and you just want to do it all in one shot, I just found this out yesterday. Use field set. So that would disable all the inputs. So if I say false, all the inputs are enabled. You see, everything works. So if you don't want people to be able to mess with your form or whatever, Tech Rally, I'm gonna punch you in your mouth. What blasphemy are you talking about? Style components suck. You with your CSS modules. I'm just teasing. Yeah, so Tech Rally prefers using CSS modules. To be honest, I use whatever is the right tool for the job, Tech Rally. That's my junior engineer level answer for you. Yeah, Tech Rally, no, but to be honest, like this is what I tell people. You should know CSS, you should know SAS, you should know CSS modules, and know that it's the same thing to use if you're using SAS regardless. And then you don't need to learn style components unless your job requires it. So I learned style components because I wanted to do everything in JavaScript. And so I really like that. Am I correct to think that? It's my opinion. And so I love style components. I've seen Wes Boss use style components, so why not? But I think you need to know and be familiar with everything. I know Material UI at some point used style components, you know, and now they switch to something else. I have no idea what they switched to. Exactly. Do what you get, like, do what you definitely get paid for. And Tech Rally, I don't know if you heard, Tech Rally CS Projects landed his first job, 90K as a mid-level developer. He's so excited. Now, by the way, I'm just going to say to you, so you know how everybody, and I don't know how long it took you to learn to code CS projects. That's not the point. The point that I'm trying to say is this, is the project that you described to me, from the fact that you said you have a front end, you have a back end with Strappy, you have full CRUD functionality, the features that you described, the fact that you're using PHP and MySQL to track users and do authentication, you are demonstrating the skills that people are hiring every day, because they know with that knowledge you'll be able to do the job. That's why the whole point of this live stream is to build a more complex projects, because at the end of the day, how many clones of whatever are you going to make? Because a lot of these clones that people make, like I made a Twitter clone, I made a you know, Facebook clone, I made like, yeah, and that makes sense. 2 years. I appreciate your honesty, my man. Like, I really appreciate it. Or I made like a Yahoo clone or whatever clone. The point is that you need to really understand not just like the UI presentation part of programming, but you have to be able to write the logic. And maybe you're not making like the backend completely from scratch, but you are, you know, understanding how to work with a database and how to implement full CRUD functionality with authentication. And I think if you are building a portfolio to get a job, that is what you have to do. And granted, my sad application that we're building here, you know, right, it's sad, but we're starting somewhere. I implemented authentication. You know, we have our little dashboard section. You're able to like. I'm going to unlike. Paul didn't know how to use goddamn unkey down effectively, so I'm unliking all the posts that he put, right? We have our excellent dashboard where you want to be able to add stuff into it. You know, you are able to see individual posts. And the point is, for this application, I'm trying to implement the same thing as CS Project. I want to have authentication. I want to have full CRUD functionality. I want to display that I have the skill that I'm able to communicate with a backend and do full CRUD application. And that's exactly what CS Project did. And I'm not surprised he got a job making 90K. And look, most of his projects are niche websites. That's pretty awesome. That's actually, by the way, like if you are a go-getter and you're able to find clients building niche websites, it's a good business. But you do have to be outgoing. You do have to, because jobs won't come to you. You have to sell your services. And so I'm curious, CS projects, how do you find clients? Because I like that. I haven't built anything for free, and that's a great mindset. But how do you find clients for niche websites? I would love to hear about that. Look, everybody likes to tech rally. Yeah, let us know when it's complete. I definitely love to see it, and I'm sure I'm going to learn so much from it, and definitely would like to pick your brain. So if you don't mind sharing, definitely be awesome. Yeah, but yeah, like for niche websites, how do you get your clients? That's because I'm all about like being self-employed, but I don't want to sugarcoat anything for people. In my opinion, if you want to be self-employed, that means you have to handle getting your own clients. You have to handle, you know, billing. You have to do customer care and everything else. I bring this stream to life, bro. This stream's been alive. But we need more life. You're right. You're true. At least, like, I'm not going to make fun of Tech Rally. I'm going to step away from the mic. I'm not going to say anything. No, I love Tech Rally. He's an awesome dude. Check out his channel. Tech Rally and I, we have this love-hate relationship. I really respect Tech Rally, and I hope he respects me, you know. But we have this fake feud going on, so we hate on each other all the time. If you know, just to let you know. But I like Tech Rally because he's my barometer for YouTube growth, and I know that he gets really upset when I get really close to his subscriber count. And I know he's gonna get that fire under his ass. And then I know you don't hate me. I'm just talking fake drama. And then if my subscriber count passes his subscriber count, I know that's gonna be the best motivation for him to like kill it on YouTube. And I know that Tech Rally has an amazing future in YouTube and in his personal business. So like I'm glad that I use Tech Rally as a barometer for my own success. Yeah, and then how do you make money? Like, do you sell the application you built? And if you do sell it, how do you find those clients? For life, Tech Rally, respect. Same here, same here. I look at your channel, I'm like, that motherfucker. I better step up my game. And I'm sure you feel the same way. And this is how we're gonna rule the universe. We're gonna rule the universe. I 100%. Yeah, so if you haven't smashed the like button, smash the like button on Tech Rally's behalf because he's here. Yeah, so I realized my audio is loud again. I'm yelling again. This is ridiculous. I gotta stop yelling. I'm like always angry, always angry. But yeah, like I love to hear the story. So if any one of you like CS project, always, by the way, if you ever want to talk about how you broke into the field, exactly how you got your job, either do it in private or on a live stream, I want to hear about it because I'm curious of listening and hearing real stories of people achieving success. I know this girl that followed me and she followed very simple advice. I mean, she did massive amount of work. She also got hired. So, okay, here we go. Let me catch up to some comments. Respect, of course. Team 9018, great to see you. Streaming again, I'm happy for you. Man, I'm happy to have you here. And yes, I'm here. Pure niche website you're doing. Create a blog, apply for Google AdSense, then write articles and link my app to the blog. But how do you monetize that? That's kind of like what, so what he's saying here, this is actually a real strategy that, by the way, very hard to do. Like I give you a lot of credit, like just talking to CS projects, like without even knowing you, the things that you're describing to make him work, you need to be a go-getter and a hustler. You got to hustle to write and create a blog, create AdSense, write articles and link. By the way, if you know how to do that with some basic SEO, you could literally go in business doing that for other people and people pay decent money for that. But how do you monetize your app? That's still like my question. Dude, there's going to be a lot of blogs and a lot of posting. That's a whole full-time job. No. He writes it on his personal niche site. Like I'm kind of trying to do the same thing. I'm just not as dedicated. My website, codingafter30.com. Did you guys know I have a website? I didn't know either. I completely forgot I had a website. Yeah, I have Coding After 30 website. By the way, this is obviously not a niche site. This is my Coding After 30 website, but there's a lot of money to be made in niche sites if you're good at it. But to get the revenue and the income, it just as much work as building a goddamn YouTube channel. To make money off a niche site, it might take you a year or so to get there. Okay, so I see what, like, but then the question would be, like, at this point, you could build application for free and monetize the app once you have around 100,000 visitors. So that's 100% true. But why even build an app? I mean, in your case, the app you're building solves like a real case scenario. So like definitely I see it. But let's say if you work on the niche website project, you could skip coding altogether. You could just use WordPress, write a niche site for whatever you got to do your research, write the articles, get that site with AdSense and everything else to get 100K unique visitors. And then you could monetize by getting a bunch of ClickBank items or whatever items you want. And then you'll be able to good to go. Oh, that's a good suggestion. And yeah, so yeah, no, like here's the thing that like I think like I don't know if you like listen, don't put pressure on CS projects. CS projects, you want to come live for like 5 minutes? If like only if you want. Don't let Tech Rally bully you. But I could send you a link and we could like have a chat on live with you. Or we could do it next time. Or you could, regardless if you want to do it live or not, I would love to pick your brain in a Zoom call, even if it's just two of us, because I like talking to people. And I really appreciate like what you have is you have a entrepreneurial mindset, and that what fuels your success. And regardless if you get a job or not, you're going to figure out how to make money. And that's something that is very hard to do. And you talking about it like it's something that like you make it sound like you're natural at it. And I think it's a skill you develop. And this is like, I love coding phase. But and I think his viewers know this, but one thing that I would say, he doesn't make money because he's a programmer. He makes money because he's an entrepreneur, and I 100% respect that. Yeah, dude. When you send me the email, we could talk about when would be a good time. I definitely want to make sure I do it the right way, and both of us comfortable. But definitely be good. Yeah, you got to. Yeah, coding phase inspires a lot of people, but like I told this to Coding Face, I do want to talk to him so bad because I want to pick his brain, not about his coding stuff, not about his, but about like his mindset of why he is the way he is. And this is kind of like the secret sauce. Like some people have it, some people think things are going to be handed to them. Like I'm pretty sure CS Project would be successful in whatever he would do because of his mindset of going after it. I think the reason why I might be successful on YouTube is because I refuse and coding, and the reason why I even was able to break into the field is because the ability of not saying no and not listening to the haters and being able to be like, you know what, I am going to do what it takes to win. Tech Rally, promises, all these promises. But Tech Rally, just tell him this. I'm going to have you on my show, and I'm gonna crash the show that he's, oh my god, that'll be so awesome. Let's do a Tech Rally, get Coding Face on. Let's do it on your show to give you views, you know, just because you need views and subscribers. Let's do that on your channel. Get Coding Face to come on your channel, and I'm gonna crash you guys. I think that'll be amazing. We already looked at the coding example. You know, we did show basically I showed the form that I was doing, and then also while showing the forms, CS Projects kind of told us how he uses on-key down. So we had this huge discussion on why you would use on-key down versus on change, and you know, and that went out of hand, but it's good. Dude, that's everybody. And you know, we all want to have fun, we all want to do things, but at the end of the day, we really have to commit to putting massive amount of work. And at the end of the day, the things, like, I could say whatever I want to. I could say I'm an astronaut to you. It doesn't matter. Like, people could say whatever they want on the internet, but at the end of the day, my bank account or my checking account, whatever, will know the truth. And so the most important thing we could do is just decide, look, what are the successful people, or what are the successful developers who made it? What are they doing? And there's a reason. There's a lot of developers I know that make over 150K, 200,000K. They're not on YouTube because they're perfectly happy with their job. Now, CS Projects, like, he wants to, you know, kill it in the dev game. You know what I mean? He wants to be completely free a few years from now. That means he needs to make massive amount of money, and he's not gonna make it doing it 90,000 a year at his job, which is a very amazing income. But he's not thinking like that. He's gonna take the job, but he's gonna do his side hustle. He's gonna build his project that he's gonna release, and he wants to make his money off his own project that he made, because that's what's gonna 10x his earnings. But that's very difficult to do. And the reason I say this is because to get a lot of great success, you got to put in ridiculous amount of work. And a lot of times I feel people underestimate what it takes, but you shouldn't feel ashamed. You should just, be like, hey, listen, Tech Rally's laughing, crying. Do you mean, do I start programming in terms of like on the stream, or do you mean like in general? Yeah, I've been coding for a while now. Look at Tech Rally. Thanks, man. Where's that car? Where's that fancy car picture that you got to say that, standing next to your car? Absolutely right. 100%. Oh, sound is low now. Jesus Christ. Always. I think it's, I don't know. Let me know if it's a problem for anybody else. This is all I have in my mind. 100%. This is what it takes. You got to, like, if I were to share, and we should have done this, we'll do more coding next week because we had a lot of great questions, because I want this to bring as much value as possible. Here's one thing I'm going to tell you, and you take it however way you want. There's a book called The Average is Over. I forgot what the book's about, but I like the title. The Average is Over. That means you can't do what everybody else is doing and become successful. It just doesn't work anymore. You need to figure out how you could stand out from above the rest and be able to differentiate yourself from everybody else. And then you have to put in massive amount of work. And that's why I tell people, some people tell me, well, I didn't need a portfolio to get hired. Well, good for you. You got lucky. But I want to make sure that everybody who watches the stream, you do everything you can possibly do to make yourself stand out from everybody else. Let's say everybody's here. If your portfolio is here and their portfolio is here, yeah, then it's like 50-50 chance it's going to get hired. But if your portfolio is here, above the average, you're going to get hired. And this is like the whole point, is to go to doing what to do. So I wrote my first Hello 30. Yes, Paul, that's you. He's talking to you. He's asking you a question. When did you print your first Hello World? So I was 10 years old. My parents put me in a coding camp. It was back in the day when Apple IIe computers were around. Guys, I'm ancient, so I don't know if you guys remember Apple IIe computers. So my first code, my first code was written on this type of machine. I was in camp. I was 10 years old. It was 1990. So I wrote my first program. And then what happened? Well, I was a bad kid in school. I didn't care about school. I didn't care about anything. All I care about is getting in trouble. And from 10 years old till 35, I did absolutely nothing. I wasted my life. I got in trouble. I don't know how I didn't end up in jail. I had my daughter when I was 19 years old. I dropped out of college 3 times. Never finished to this day. I didn't start taking my life seriously until I was like 28. But I was successful because instead of doing computer coding, I did martial arts all my life. So I ran a very successful martial art business. But at the end of the day, I realized that I needed to do something that's creative. So I started trying to learn to code at 35, or even earlier. But at 35, I started to take it a little bit more seriously. And until like probably 2017, 2018, 2019, that like those last 3 years, and you could see in my GitHub repos, I took it really serious. And that's what allowed me to get a job a couple of years ago when I was 39 years old. So I started late, made a lot of mistakes, but eventually figured it out. And at 39, was able to get my dev job. And the reason why, wanted to make this YouTube channel is because I wanted to be honest about this reality of switching careers, trying to get into something new. It is possible, but please don't underestimate the amount of work that it takes. The biggest, like, this is something that irks me. The biggest thing that I hate, and we don't do it on purpose, but when people make it, it's very easy to talk about how easy it was. Man, yo, this guy, don't even bother his name. This is Mr. Cuba. This guy, man, my brother. I love this guy. Like, talking about, this guy's my hero, by the way. I'm just showing some man love to my true hero, my friend. He's a personal friend of mine. We used to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu together. He used to kick my butt beyond belief. He's the greatest person ever. I will one day tell you the funniest story how we met. It was fantastic. You know, but I'm just laughing about it. Man, I love you. I'm amazed you jumped on this live stream. I got to visit you when I'm in Connecticut, 100%, my man. Love you, bro. Like, say hello to your family. Yeah, professional sportsman. That's very cool. Yeah, that's what I did. I trained chess for 6 years, bro. I'm Russian and people assume I'm good at chess. I suck at chess. Chess is an amazing game. And listen, like, I envy anybody who is able to play chess well. I actually watch a lot of chess videos, but I suck at chess. So my mom played me. She beats me every time. My daughter, who doesn't know how to play chess, beats me every time. It's ridiculous. But anyway, we're kind of about to hit that 2-hour mark on our amazing stream that we had. And we'll come back to more coding. But the point is, like, whenever you guys ask questions, whenever we have discussions, I want to make sure to engage in them, because I want to make sure that I'm answering your questions and I'm providing value to you, because I don't want to make this about me. So smash the like button for you guys, and I appreciate everything you've done. And so, love you, brother. You're my hero. You're my hero. We used to, dude, we ruled the world before. Listen, Kuba, me and him worked for this dude. After I gave up my martial arts school, I worked for this other dude, martial arts school. I'm not going to mention names. The guy, you know, people know him. But me and him took that school from nobody to having over 300 students. That was like the golden age. Me and him ruled the world. Best classes, best everything. We're killing it in the business. But the owner lost his mind. And we both left. Kuba, though. Kuba's funny dude. He's a funny dude. I love my friend. You know, till the very end, right? Till the very end. Oh, not this tech really. Where's Kuba's face? I love Kuba. Till the very end, he's like, bro, you can't leave before me. You can't leave before me. We gotta just stay here together, you know? And the owner was putting so much pressure on him that he left before me, and I don't blame him. But I appreciate him that he hung out there till the very last end. But dude, you were undeserved by that guy. That guy does not deserve you. That guy, everything you did for him, he could go F himself, to be honest. There's true, awesome human beings. Like, I love to surround myself with awesome people. Like, if you're a good-hearted person, like in real life, like, I don't care if you made mistakes, whatever, I respect that a lot. Kuba's one of them. And everybody that I associate with myself, like, I want to make sure that they're good people, because, you know, I made mistakes. Life is short. So you want to surround yourself with the best possible people you can, the best time. You know, CS projects. Started coding at 27. I'm 29 years old now. I'm tired working as a cabin cleaner. I have been in the USA when I was 24. I work any type of job until I discover something like coding. That's a great story. You know, the entry to learning to code, you just need to go online and start learning, start doing. You need a computer. It doesn't even have to be that big. Wow, world champion in Blitz. Holy Jesus. That is phenomenal. Amazing. A nice cat. Yeah, I love my cat. Tech Rally, we're still good. When I come to New York, I'm gonna give you some private jiu-jitsu lessons. Man, I'm gonna hurt you bad, my man. No, I'm just kidding. No, but when I'm gonna fly to go to Connecticut, I'm gonna fly into JFK. So on the way out of New York, I want to grab lunch with you, Tech Rally. I'll let you know. It's probably gonna be like 2-3 months from now, so still plenty of time. But we're gonna have to connect. We're gonna have to connect for sure. Yeah. So my voice, I feel like starting to go. Oh, not you. Okay. I'm just reading comments really fast. Let's do fire rapid questions. If you were to ask any questions, what would be the rear naked choke? I wouldn't be that nice to you. I'm gonna go for an armbar. I don't want you to pass out and have pleasant dreams. No, I'm just kidding. Drinks, bro. I don't drink. Like I'm an addict. I can't do that stuff. But I'll watch you drink. Is my audio that bad? I actually just record everything. It might be like this mic, and one of the things I might have to get is the amp for it, because I don't think it whatever power my computer draws to this mic, it needs more, because I'm maxed out on my settings, and if it sounds low, I have no idea. Yeah, but I use Ecamm to record everything, and usually works fine. But I do need to get a better mic. This mic I thought was going to be awesome. It wasn't as awesome I expected it to go. Tech Rally says audio is good, and we have person in the image. Yeah, that shows how much chess I play. I didn't even know who the Blitz champion was. Yeah, that'll be good. Once you get it, definitely share with us. I definitely love to spread the word. Like I'm not afraid to give other people love. It's like somebody told me, this was hilarious. Somebody says like, Paul, what would happen if some developer comes onto your channel and they're better than you? I'm gonna learn something. And then they're like, but why if you only have people that are newbies and don't know anything? Then I'm gonna teach something. No, Ecamm is not free. I used to use OBS. To use OBS, you really have to be a rocket scientist. I remember, yeah, you have to pay for Ecamm, unfortunately. But for me, it's worth it, because the time I used to spend messing around with OBS, like hours before the stream, like something would break and they'll be just pain in the butt to fix. So I use Ecamm. Tech Rally uses another one. Tech Rally, what do you use if you're still on, if you didn't leave yet? What do you use for your streaming? I forgot. Was it like StreamYard? Something like that? Yeah, so I pay because it makes it easier. And the feature that I like the best is their interview feature, because I could literally send you a link and you'll be able to jump in a second. Yo, I'm about to do it. Let's do it. Guys, if you left, don't leave. Don't leave. I'm about to invite Tech Rally. I'll send it on Discord because I don't have my phone on me. We're gonna do some serious stuff right now. This is amazing. Let me figure this out. We're about to take this overtime interview. Copy link. Tech Rally, I'm sending it on Discord. Better be prepared. How? I don't even know. I'm so old, I don't know how to use Discord. Jesus. Tech Rally's right here. Tech Rally's online. I'm gonna message him. I just sent Tech Rally a link. I'm just assuming you want to chat. Yeah, let's chat. If Tech Rally, if you mean let's chat, I just sent you the link. Let me know when you're in here. Yep, still win-win situation. Yeah, so if Tech Rally comes on, this is going to be amazing. I just sent him a link. I'm assuming that's what he meant. Unless he's trying to I don't know. Unless I don't know how to read English. It's possible. Hey, Team 9018, have a good day at school, and I will see you next time. I think like Tech Rally was just making fun of me and not wanting to chat with me, so feelings hurt. I don't understand some of these comments. No, but really, Tech Rally, if you want to jump in for 5 minutes, say hello. Always welcome. I send you a link on Discord. You just have to follow that bad boy. But but if you don't have time and I misread your chat, that's perfectly fine too. We could do it next time. Yeah, by the way, guys, like I know I say it all the time, but I really mean it. Like I am, oh, Tech Rally's coming. I just want to say I love all of you guys so much and appreciate the love you guys give. Okay, let Tech Rally get situated. To the right. Tech Rally, can you hear me? Tech Rally, are you there?
I can.
You could hear me.
Can you hear me?
I could hear you well. Let me just say a bunch of stuff so I could make sure that your audio's up.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing.
I think it's fine. Oh, there you go.
Is my mic okay? Because I don't know if it's coming from this or my AirPods.
I believe it sounded like it's your mic because it doesn't sound as bad as AirPods.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah. Let us know though in the comments if the audio is weird or not. Man, look at how handsome Tech Rally is. Like, Jesus Christ. I was gonna say, do you shave? But then you just don't grow anything.
All day, man. Every day. I'm an old man now.
Man, how you been, bro? It's been a while. Dude, are you? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right. We talked about it. The Asian genes. Not being racist, guys. It's the truth. You should see my fiance. Like, I would get in trouble, but she's like, you know, basically turning 30 next year. Or not next year, in like a month and a half.
Bruh, that's amazing. What's the age difference? Like 12 years, 13 years? Man's got game, bro. Man's a developer, a jiu-jitsu specialist, practicing all forms of jiu-jitsu.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, no, you know what it is? First of all, guys, if you're dating out there, you got to understand that women like mature men, right? So if you're a guy and you meet a woman your age, she's more mature than you, 100%. More mature than you, she's going to leave you. She's not going to be able to put up with you. She'll be like, you're not mature enough for me. So I'm so immature that I was like, what's the age where they're not in their 20s where I can't have a conversation with them because they're mentally out there, you know, want to talk about Instagram, but yet at my maturity level, she's still more mature than I am. She always puts me in my place. Good woman.
All I know is I think coding after 30 needs to start a dating after 30 or dating after 40, whatever you want, whichever one works.
Dude, like I don't date anymore. Like I just don't care. I'm glad I have my fiance. To be honest with you, if I didn't have my fiance, I would just be single for the rest of my life. You know, I was just focused on the things that I want to do, like coding all the time, sitting here.
Actually, having a partner really keeps you in check. Honestly, yes, like from
100%.
Being overly consumed.
His wife's 21. He's 29. Exactly, makes sense.
Whose wife is 21?
But he has a question.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what could happen since I have that middle-level job that requires 3 years of experience. Look, dude, they just put that on a piece of paper. The fact that you got it, you'll be fine. And you know, how you can prepare, like, I don't know how you like. If they already hired you, like they know what they're expecting. But at the same time, I guess when you start working there, you know, don't hesitate to ask questions if something you don't understand. But Tech Rally probably has more experience. What was your process like starting at Amazon?
For what? Just like as a experienced developer?
Yeah, like just go, like for instance, when you got hired, right, they hired you. But when you came there, was there like an onboarding process or what was that like? Just so CS Projects has an idea of what it's like when you start at a company where, you know, they have actual protocol. Like my company had none of that. They just threw me into the code, which is usually not a typical experience.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of throwing you into the code, but at the same time watching some like onboarding videos and stuff like that.
Did you do pair programming for a bit there? No? Okay.
A little bit here and there, but not too much. It was very, I I would have to go and reach out to ask for pair programming because maybe I didn't understand a specific part of the code or whatever, but it wasn't like a consistent schedule to have pair programming, if that makes sense.
Now,
And
without like,
whenever,
oh, go ahead,
oh,
finish. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, like when you're an experienced hire, it's a little different. They don't necessarily treat you like a new developer, so they don't like ask you, oh, like, are you doing, do you have everything fully set up and all of that stuff? It's kind of just expecting you to understand how to get your feet started and get your like feet wet right away. And if you have particular set of questions, you could frame it in a way that you could get the answer right away.
Right.
But if you're a newer developer, it's like we kind of have to make sure, hey, is everything okay? Like, are you like stressed out about certain things? And you just like ask these follow-up questions that you normally wouldn't ask for experienced developers. Yeah.
Right. So it seems for CS Project's case, if he's going to mid-level, they're going to have certain expectations that he should already know. And so that makes sense. Now, if you were saying like if you're experienced and you just kind of hinted on that, being able to ask questions in a way that lead to the answer quickly, do you have an example of that? Like you wouldn't say,
general,
what's this? Basically.
Right, exactly. I mean, I think you're kind of giving me a softball question here, which I really appreciate.
But
not
generally, it's an important question. It's an important question.
It is an important question. But,
I'll tell you this: a lot of people don't ask questions like this though, unless they've been at that level. That's why I wanted to kind of bring it up.
Yeah, and this is one thing that I always try to mentor my like clients or aspiring junior developers is that whenever you ask questions, you have to give context of what you've done and how many solutions you try to come up with or how many approaches you've done and why it's not working for you. And then you kind of say like, I've tried X approach, I've tried Y approach, I've tried Z approach, but none of them seem to be working. Is there something that I'm not understanding about this specific part of the code that's not making me like get the actual answer that I'm trying to solve, right? Yeah. So a lot of times I frame it in a way where I say, I've done this, and I've done this. Is there something that I'm not seeing that you can help me understand to solve this problem? Right. And oftentimes that's been very helpful. Like, I don't really go like, hey, help me with this. Or like, hey, I don't know what's going on. I always try to frame it in a way that I've done something and then ask like, do you see something that I don't?
Yeah. And like making sure you're asking specific questions where they don't have to fish from you like what you're trying to say.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. So how's it been working at Amazon? What do you...
It's all right. It's pretty tough. I mean, everyone's super smart. Everyone's very nice, which has been really unexpected, to be honest, because usually you would meet a lot of... I would have expected to meet a few bad apples or arrogant people, but surprisingly, my team has been very, very kind. And there were moments where I felt like I was getting a little annoyed about certain things, but that was more on me than actual like my teammates. And if anything, they're just keeping me accountable about like code reviews and all of that stuff. So overall, I would say my Amazon has been pleasantly good. But yeah, besides that, no, work's been good. Just trying to work on my course and stuff as well. And yeah, everything's just been like so busy. I don't know how you do it, but I know you were kind of feeling a little burnt out too. At one point, but,
I just can't stop. Gotta hustle, you know.
Gotta hustle and grind.
And grind like crazy. Oh my God, it's just never ending. But like you and I, like our time, like we have to sacrifice things. Like anybody who wants to succeed, like if you're doing YouTube, that means there's something we're not doing, or if it's just 100%. Like follow-up question to you, what are you considered at your job? Are you closer to senior, mid, or mid?
I don't really know, and I don't really care.
Yeah, that's fine. But let me ask you this question.
I'm really not sure.
In terms of like what a junior dev would do, like, let's say they say we need this feature. Are you creating features or are you working on existing features?
I could do both.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's like I've actually the stuff that I've been doing is building from scratch.
Nice.
So, and if anything, I've never used AWS before I joined this Amazon, and
Yep.
literally like my second project that I've worked on was pure AWS and front end and everything. So I literally built like a full stack application from scratch.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it's the team that I'm in. So my team is pretty new, so a lot of the stuff isn't built out. So you're kind of forced to do it.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like at my new job, for instance, I'm building stuff from scratch, and it's just so nerve-wracking. And so like as a mid-level, then there's an expectation that you should be able to build something out from scratch. I'm just kind of looking at CS projects questions, and
Yeah, at Amazon at least. And I don't know what it's, maybe at startups it might be a little bit different, but I would suspect at least you should be able to be self-sufficient. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, and then when you're a senior, maybe that's like, you think about very, very higher level, like architecture, and you're coordinating with other teams and whatnot. Because at least with Amazon, there's just so many different teams responsible for different services that you can't technically build your feature without depending on another feature.
Right.
So it's just like coordination and everything. Yeah. And like seniors at Amazon, they're like 10 years plus.
Yeah. And so CS Project asks, do you guys think it's a great idea to apply for a mid-level job with zero experience? And then he says, I've been working with React.js, PHP, and MySQL. And he says like he has 2 years of experience, but that's based off like the niche sites he built himself. And I think like my case, like I apply for whatever, and the jobs that I'm not qualified for, I'm just not going to get. That's kind of like my thought on that. But at the same time, you don't want to get a job that you're not qualified for and get it and then be like, Jesus Christ. But I still think it's better to take the chance.
I had a question for you.
Yeah.
If you don't mind asking. If you don't mind me asking.
You could interview me if you like on my own show. That's fine.
No, because I'm actually going to go on a
No,
call
I'm not even joking.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I've been working with him on once a month at least. And he has an interview coming up on Tuesday. He doesn't necessarily have work experience, but if he comes into an interview with a hiring manager, what would you recommend him to do? Like while he's talking with the hiring manager, when maybe you're talking about work experience, like what have you done so far? Is it more about highlighting projects? Is it more about highlighting your skills? What part do you think is the most
I'm hoping that
important part to emphasize?
So one of the things that I think like you should know at least in the bare minimum what the company does and what tech they used. I hope he knows that, because, and if he does, I would definitely like, maybe like, I don't know how much time you have like to prepare, but for the next interview, definitely do that, because you need to have some talking points that you could kind of engage the conversation, where you take it from them asking you questions to you just listening and then getting lost because they're talking 100% of the time. Like for instance, let's say you and I are talking right now, I'm not quiet, and you control the conversation 80% of the time. That means you have 80% of the time that you could ask me whatever, some algorithmic question that I don't know the answer to. So I try not to be like blatantly pushy about it, but I try to know like enough about the company. So when I start, I'll be like, at least that's what I try to do. I don't know if it's right or not, but like, let's say you come in, I'm like, hey, Alex, great to, thank you for having this interview. And then you'll say like, whatever. And I'm like, hey, by the way, like, I see that you guys using this, and that. And then I'll say, what are some of the problems you guys running into based on like the thing that you're using? So I want to gauge and kind of see, like, I want to right away position myself as like I'm actively trying to understand what they do and understand what problems they have, so I could position myself as someone who's able to solve them. And my last interview I did actually was really good. And when I finished the interview, I realized that I talked like 60% of the interview. And a lot of it is just asking like really like, and I did it like naturally, and when I say naturally, I've been talking most of my life. So it's like, it's a skill that you develop. But I guess like knowing a little bit about the company and understanding how to position yourself as do like a case of a value proposition for yourself that you could be like already show engaging before you even got hired. You're already engaging. You know what I mean? And then if they say this is the problem we're solving, I'd be like, oh, you know, it's interesting because we had a similar situation on my company and I did X, Y, and Z. Or if he doesn't have experience like in a company, but he'd be like, oh, I was working on this project and this is how I solved it, or like whatever. And I'm not saying you're going to have an answer for every use case, but I think kind of knowing a little bit and then being able to kind of get into like a position where you're asking them stuff rather than being at one-sided conversation. You know what I mean? I hope I'm explaining.
That's a good,
it right.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And it's all about preparation and kind of just being equipped with like conversation starters or just do your research and try to like relate to whatever problems that they're trying to solve and all of that stuff. That's actually really good because with junior roles, it's very difficult, right? To just base everything on skill, purely on skill at least, and being able to show that you have some kind of interest in the company and understanding their tech stack and trying to figure out their business problems and what they actually need. All of that is super important. Like you kind of have to do a little bit more work than like what a mid or senior level,
right? Because you already have your experience. You don't have to sell yourself as much.
Right.
They're like, oh, he had 3 jobs. He worked his last job with Google. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I already know that you're a software engineer. Like we could just go straight to the exam. But here, it's like maybe your resume doesn't say software engineer. It just says you've been like a restaurant manager or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, how the hell? What are you supposed to do there? Like,
yeah,
you don't have work
about like
experience there,
interesting
you're not
strategies.
like,
I talked about interesting strategies that you could do to build experience, but I don't want to get into them here. The second thing, this is something that I didn't do, is there's a lot of, like, I don't know what you call them, soft questions or whatever, where they ask questions like, what is your biggest weakness? Or whatever. And you actually need to prepare a story beforehand because I never thought about it that way. And there's a bunch of interviews where I was like frozen, like still not having a response. And so, that's something that I keep in the like back of my mind. And then and so you want to make sure that you have a way to turn a negative into a positive,
that's so underrated. Like no one really talks about the whole soft skills that you need during the interview process, especially for junior developer positions, because it's one of those roles where like I said again, it's not about your skill as much, but more about showing interest, showing that you can provide value, showing it's like showing more than actual like knowing at times.
Yeah, one of the questions I would ask is like ridiculous. They're like, you're like, 39 years old, and
wait, someone actually brought that up?
Yeah, they
brought your age up?
Yeah, they were like, whatever. Like you're like jumping
That's
into.
illegal.
This guy doesn't care. This is my first job I got. I told you about that guy a little bit, right? Like I used to work for the maniac. That's why I'm a bad person to ask, at least for the first part. And we'll get to some questions in a second. But I was like, I'm 39. I realized I started late, but because of that, I spent more time at home, working after hours. And the guy's like, oh, okay. So, because he just wants someone who's going to be like a slave-driven person to smash the whip. But, and it is illegal. But, like, at the same time, it's like they might ask questions. If you didn't, like, you'd be like, oh, Jesus Christ. But before we move on, let's kind of ask some questions here.
Hey man, I miss doing this. We need to do this more.
I tell you all the time, you gotta come on more. We got it, dude. This is so much fun. Lodi asks, what are some great beginner React projects to put on a portfolio?
Before I answer this, I might go on a live stream Friday, possibly. So I'll let you know if I do, and
that'd be awesome.
you should come over.
Let me know. Yeah, definitely. So this is gonna be a stupid answer, but I have to say it because so many people, me included, were in this camp. The best React project to put on your portfolio is the one that you finish. That's number one. So many people never complete one project. They move to something else. And if you look at my GitHub, there's it's a graveyard of unfinished projects. But with that out of the way, keeping it more serious is number one, do something simple where you're able to display, stuff via React and use an API to get the data and put it on screen, like in a more basic sense. I hope I'm explaining it right. And then if you want to make it something more complex, try to incorporate full CRUD functionality. Like one, I'll show you one application I did real quickly, not to hijack the stream. Oh my God, I don't even know how to share screen anymore. You know what? I'll do it next time. But
bro, I was about to go shirtless because you didn't have.
I was gonna really quickly come back because I'm like, hey, Alex, shirtless. Let's do this. What's a good React project outside like of what I said?
So originally for practice, I was gonna say like the Pokemon API with the React project is good, but these days I feel like so many people are doing that. It's really hard to showcase that as a project. But what is pretty cool is I discovered the Star Wars API. And not a lot of people love Star Wars for some reason because it is a kind of a somewhat complex API. But if you can build something that's really nice, and you could say that it's a niche site, right? It's a niche Star Wars API site that I built from scratch. It leverages a public API, but everything that's on there is up to date. And it's a purely front end app that we leverage a free API from. But right now, like the content and everything is like fully supplied by React. It's fully powered by React, and I haven't seen anyone really build an application using the Star Wars API. So I think that would be something that is probably like a little diamond in the rough that no one knows about that could be more unique than a Pokemon API.
Yeah,
and this is purely like if you only have React and not a backend service.
Yeah, another common one. Let me like bring it up here real quickly. Actually, I will show you. I want to bring you some value. Something like anything that gets stuff from an API. I'll show you like a super simple one would be, and this is like maybe like more simplistic, but I like it because it has like actual use case here. I don't even know if you guys, you guys see my screen. This is
like,
I
can see it.
This is like would be more on a simpler side, but this is like the bare minimum. Like, so if I want to like White Russian, right, is, you know, like it looks it up, it hits an API and it looks up the drink, and you basically want to create something bare minimum. Should be a basic React that displays some UI, but at the same time you're showing that you know how to get data from the API. This would be like the most basic one I would recommend. But then you could go something like at a mid-level. Let's see here. Let me back up here. Like if you wanted to do something, and the ones that Tech Rally said, they're like also very good. It's just along the same kind of thing he was talking about. I have.
Damn, it's a lot of Netlify sites.
They're all broken. They're all broken. That's the secret. They have a lot of stuff that's broken. But this is like a COVID tracker, which, and this is supposed to be for phone. So let me pretend to make it for phone. But basically something that kind of shows data visually, and this would be like a good one that's not your basic one that I just showed, but not that much more difficult. It looks more difficult, but I'm still just making one call to an API where I'm getting stuff by the country, and then all that data gets populated here in the UI, but it just looks fancier.
Impressive.
Yeah,
how did you come up with like the design and everything like that? Is that
so?
What did you use for that mapping and stuff?
For mapping, I used Leaflet, React Leaflet. It's a third-party thing to visualize stuff, and this was also a third-party thing. So you don't have to build all the components from scratch. So you could pick like a basic thing for graphing, where you don't write it from scratch, but it looks pretty impressive. And then you use Leaflet, you look at the API, it's pretty straightforward. And then the point is you're combining a couple of things together and you're making something look more impressive than it is. Like if you see the code, it's not that much more complex than the Pokemon API and stuff like that. And that's kind of like...
What API did you use? Is like a COVID tracker or something?
So this is actually inspired by... I forgot their YouTube channel. They built a COVID tracker. So I just looked up the API they used and I built my own version of it.
Nice, nice.
That's what
did you ever showcase that project?
Like I just to my viewers, you know, I never I'm rebuilding my portfolio and I want to build something like where I am with my level. Like for me, I need to build something that has authentication, has like users, has full CRUD, has a backend. So that's what I'm working on now for like my level, and using GraphQL because GraphQL is phenomenal and awesome.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I know you're working on a lot of like side projects to get better as a developer, but do you
Just
feel
one,
like your
just
job doesn't necessarily like put you in an opportunity to become a better developer, or is it just
No.
more you want to learn?
No, 100%. Like I think so. There's a reason like why I'm doing it. So, like for me, like I wanna. So there's stuff I learn on the job, right? And the stuff that I learn, I implement on the project at work, right? But I'm like, you know what I need to be able to try to use the things I learn outside the context of work. And so what I do is I build a project that utilizes the same tech stack I use at work, but I do it at home. So it's basically similar to what I'm doing, and it helps me to reinforce the stuff that I'm using. And another reason why I'm doing that is because I'm showing people like, okay, like obviously I can't show my work application, right? But I could say, this is the tech we're using, and I could create my own application, which highlights the functionality that your application should have. So I'm showing him, okay, if you want to build a project for your portfolio, why don't you build something that is similar to what people are actually building at work? So when a hiring manager sees you, they're like, oh, slap. You're using the same tech we're using, and you're solving the same problems we're having. So like there's a job I applied for, and they pretty much said, we love you, whatever, but I still need to do like another interview with them. But I asked them like in an interview, like what are the technologies you use, blah, 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 blah. And they told me like we use TypeScript, we use like Graph ORM, like whatever. Like, and so I started a project utilizing those technologies. So like whenever like I go either do their technical interview or when they ask me more about it, I'm going to be more prepared. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
dude, what you're doing is a huge service to the YouTube community that probably not a lot of people realize. And it's actual coding in front of like an audience and showing that it's not easy to build.
Bad coding. I do bad coding in front of the audience.
Coding nonetheless, right? But it is coding, and not a lot of people do it. And like personally for me, I don't really enjoy coding outside of work at times, just because it's just it puts so much stress on you during those like 8 to 10 hours of working. But for you to be able to do that and show the grind of what it takes to really build a full stack application is pretty good. But no, kudos to you for doing that. That's really impressive.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like I still, like I said, I always feel like a junior, even though you and everybody else I know, they're like, you're not junior. Like, stop saying that.
Stop saying that. You're making all juniors feel like they aren't even worth being juniors. Like, you're the problem.
I am the problem.
You're too good,
so
and you're claiming yourself a junior. No one's gonna ever think they could be a junior.
Lack of confidence. It's my lack of confidence.
Dude, you should be more confident. If anything,
I'm getting that way. After doing these live streams, like they've been helping me, just because I'm like, oh, like I kind of do know what I'm talking about. You know?
The thing is, like, employers always take advantage of the fact that you don't have confidence. So they're gonna pay you less money for like, even though you're able to produce at like a mid or potentially it's like senior level developer like level. They're gonna be like, oh wow, like I don't have to pay this guy that much, and he'll still do this much.
That's actually
like,
a really good point. Really good point. I know CS projects have brought a lot of value. We had a really good discussion about coding, but he's saying he's planning on taking course on video editing and recording on Udemy. And after all the great conversation I had with him about coding, I'm kind of now like, why? Why would you take an editing course on Udemy if your goal to be a programmer? Like I like, you know.
He's an entrepreneur, sounds like.
Yeah, but is he like? This is like, I take whatever I make an hour right now, right? And then I say to myself, if I'm going to do something else, it's like I'm taking that amount of money away from my pocket. So the value proposition for what he's trying to learn has to be greater than what he's making. You know what I mean? At least that's how I'm thinking. Oh, I like this question. What is the difference between .com and IO? $50. I bought CourseShare.io. I actually I have bunch.io, and I'm like, why did I spend $50 on this goddamn name? Because .com wasn't available. But yeah, it's a difference of like $50. So if you could get a .com, it's just cheaper. I mean, it sounds cooler, you know, egghead.io, coreshare.io, whatever. I think that app broke. No, I go for
TechRally.co,
.com if I
baby.
can.
That's what I use.
That's good too. You know,
But my website's actually built on Squarespace.
whatever.
But like the thing is, like some people might give me
Yeah, I'm
crap
just
for it,
teasing
but
you, bro. Yeah.
the thing
Sorry, I
is,
was talking to CJ.
I don't really have enough time. I don't have time to build my own personal site right now,
Dude.
and it's just about
Dude.
cost allocation. Like I'm working as a software
Smart.
developer. I don't really need to
Smart.
prove anyone
So,
that I'm a software. Actually, no one has really ever questioned me as a software developer, which is like kind of funny because I feel like some YouTubers do get questioned for that, and it's just like maybe working at Amazon.
Now that you told me your
validates
weakness,
that
you told me your weakness. Yeah, that's fine. We could do that. You know.
Wait, what?
You know, what is concurrency? No, listen. I don't even know what concurrency is. But time allocation. So, like, I had so many little business ideas, and I realized for a lot of them, you really just need a landing page, which could be static HTML, and a working form, and you could get that done by buying a template for $9 on, you know, like Treeforest, whatever that site is called, and you're in business. And I kind of like, people were complaining like, this is the funniest thing ever. Someone is like, oh, things are hard. Like I want to go like self-employed, or how do I show experience on LinkedIn? So I created a fake LinkedIn account with a person who already has a job as a software engineer. And people like, how is that possible? Like, how do you already have a job as someone? So let me.
Honestly, like, dude, they're just like, I don't know if you watch Josh Fluke, but he does bring up some like good points about playing the game a little bit.
Sorry, did I say that out loud? Sorry. Go ahead.
But there's some interesting advice.
If he whined less, I would watch him more. You know, if he just stopped whining, Jesus, like it just.
Okay. He does whine a lot, but I mean, the reality is that it's so hard to get a job these days that, dude, you could just form your own LLC. Just say you work there, and then people are gonna ask you like, "Oh, what do you do at Coding After 30 website at the company?" And be like, "Oh, I am a software engineer there." And technically, you're not lying.
You're not lying.
It's like,
and if you get clients, good. If you don't get clients, that's cost of being self-employed. But check this out. This is totally. Tell me if you could see my screen. I don't know. Can you see my screen?
Coding 30.
Yeah, this is totally like this is a new guy, because I want to kind of show people it's not that difficult. So he's a software engineer at Get That Client. It's a company that provides web services to people. So if you click here, hold on, let me go to my thing here. You go here like Coding After 30, software engineer, because you don't want to say aspiring engineer. No one's going to hire you.
Of course.
Works at Get That Client. They're oh my God, it's a company listed on LinkedIn. They're on LinkedIn. It's a legitimate company. So we go to the company page. Oh, the page exists. It's a real company. Look at that. They do static websites, WordPress, custom web apps, local SEO. Let's check out their website. It's not done, but I just wanted to prove a point. Look, they have a business website, a fucking professional, and this is where I work. And so all my projects I make, they're under this umbrella for this company, Get That Client. And people asked me already if I was hiring. I was just like, yeah, not currently. We're a startup. But that's the point, is that a lot of people, they like wait to build experience, but you could start building your own experience. And
what do you think about that though? Like just doing your own LLC and just starting that way? Because honestly, I don't see any issue with that at all.
No, let me show you my real profile. I want to show you something. And you already saw my resume, and I think I have to still send you my copy of it.
No, I haven't. I share it with my community, your resume.
How did you get it?
Amazing.
Is it the good one?
They gave it to me. The good one? The one with the purple line?
I might have redone it, but like, yeah, as long as it's the good one. So this is my real...
I tell people to follow you and then share your resume and then use that resume.
Yo, my resume is legit. I was so happy
So
when I made
like,
it. But here, let me show you
I think you owe me like 100 subscribers.
What do you mean?
At least.
Yeah.
For sharing your resume.
Yeah. So you go here, Fluid Logic. This was a company my friend and I started, and I worked there for a year and 6 months. And we only had one client. But everything that I built and learned, I put it as my experience because I did have that experience. Like, for instance, if someone would question me about the stuff that I did, like I would know the stuff because I actually did it. So I'd say if you do it, you should definitely be able to back up your experience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anyway, so
But
like
I think so many people just have a hard time gaining experience, right? And they ask like, how do I get experience if I don't have experience? And I usually suggest like volunteering, but I think another approach is just, dude, open up an LLC and just see what you can do from there. Like, it's so easy.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that this is what I did. Like, I played a game. Where am I gonna make fastest increase in money? Is it through my freelancing LLC or from the experience I get from there and get hired at a job? And
exactly,
I ended up getting hired, and most people do eventually get hired. It's unless you're making like really good money freelancing, you know, there's no incentive.
Bro, like,
hey,
actually
Jose,
one thing that
sorry, shout out. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I'm like building my course right now still, but I think I'm a little stuck on a section where I need to review people's like portfolio websites and projects. But if you have anyone that would love to get some feedback on their projects that they don't mind sharing for my course, like I would love to try to look at that, because I don't want to just put random people's projects on it without their permission.
No, 100%.
Yeah,
you shouldn't
but
do anything without people's permission.
I review your portfolio website. It looks good.
Which one? The one that I quickly set up in 5 minutes to
Hello,
show people
my name is I am Paul.
That was an experiment that took me a day because people are like, oh, portfolio is so hard, like whatever. I'm like, look, just go.
Dude, honestly, I love that site because it's so simple. Like, some people like make it so complicated and like put on these like weird animations and all that crap.
Dude, I didn't even
you don't need to. Exactly. You just replace the HTML. That's all you need.
It works amazing. People look at it, they're like, this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah. But I mean, I haven't recorded anything. I'm still doing all the PowerPoint slides, but it's just I'm hoping.
That's the hardest part. Is the PowerPoint stuff.
Well, I have everything in my head, and sometimes it's so annoying to just keep repeating yourself a little bit, if you know what I mean. Like, sometimes the advice is so straightforward. Not straightforward, but it's just said so many times in a different way. And like Dorian kind of brought that up, right, in his videos, where he was saying these learn to code videos are getting kind of redundant and repetitive. But
but that's, you know why they're repetitive, is because people are not doing what they're being told. Blows my mind.
But the thing is, I think with his channel, like, and sorry if this is kind of going off topic, but I think with his channel,
the topics. This is going already into like the territory of
but the difference between his channel and our channel is that we kind of have a very clear why on why we're doing our YouTube channel. And it's very focused. Like it just happened that his channel blew up and he was able to talk about multitudes of things. But like for us, we're very clear on why we do why we make the content that we do. So like in terms of like motivation and stuff like that, it's very easy to make content for it. But obviously, you know, like burnout is real, but in terms of actual why we make the content or why we don't feel as bored making content, it's very clear. Like, we enjoy helping people and we enjoy seeing people succeed. But if you're not working tied like closely with them, like one-on-ones, like you do with that one girl, that Tatia, or I forgot her name.
She killed it.
Like, those are the reasons why we make the videos that we do, right? So it's like a different motivation.
I think like there's like a difference like in terms of like the goals, and he, you know, I mean, his channel is awesome. He brought a lot of value.
Of course,
I think he did YouTube to do YouTube. You know what I mean? And that's a legitimate goal. Like Krishan However, I feel about him, he does YouTube. He's like a professional YouTuber, and he's doing it really well. You know what I mean? And nothing is wrong with that. And so I don't want YouTube for the sake of YouTube. I want YouTube to be a tool that I use to build my business. And if YouTube goes away,
Right.
I still want to have my business. And I think you're very
Mhm.
similar in that sense. And I think, like, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to figure out, like you said, you need to know your why. And my why is like, number one, I want to be a better developer. Number two, I want to teach development because I like teaching. And then number three, you know, maybe one day have a course. But at the same time, I still want to have my development job. I just want it to be
Mhm.
contract based, where I work on my own schedule. That's my goal. Work as a developer. I don't care if I make a lot of money, but work as a developer on my time. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. So.
If anything, the money thing, I know that it's like, I kind of operated in the same way, but I realized if I'm gonna be working and doing the same thing, but I could get paid a lot more for it, I should have taken advantage of it. Like, now that I work at Amazon, I'm getting paid like way more,
Yeah.
and money isn't everything, but I realize if I'm gonna be
Buys you
doing the same thing,
Yeah.
and I could get paid significantly more, my life is just so much
Yeah.
better
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's
No.
just so much more comfortable, right? So
Yeah.
one thing that I would encourage you because I really felt the same way. It's like, I love my work-life balance, I love everything like that, but in some regards, I felt like I put a damper, or like I just kind of restricted myself of what I'm fully capable of making based on my skills.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No,
that's the one thing that I would just kind of,
yeah. No, I get it. Like, for me though, like, I want to build a business that I own, and I want to make my money that way. That's like kind of like what I'm saying. So like, my job is a vehicle for me to invest back into my business rather than to invest into like my living like expenses per se. Like,
yeah,
I work just so I
yeah.
could do this because this is not yet profitable.
But it doesn't necessarily mean you can't get paid more to
No,
do
no,
the same
100%,
thing,
100%.
right? Like, cause
Yeah,
like
yeah,
for me,
yeah.
I'm getting paid more, but I'm still the
Yeah,
same mindset,
Yeah,
right?
no, 100%. And what money does, it makes you
Opens more
not feel the
opportunities.
problems, not feel like, I mean, there's rich people problems. I'm not talking about those problems, but like normal everyday
Mhm.
problems, like, you know, if you're making, you know, more money, you know, an emergency is not an emergency. I'll just pay for it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's definitely
Right.
easier. Where
Right. I
if
guess
you're
the only
living-
Go
like,
ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, but if you're living at a point where if you miss one paycheck and you're hurting, then it's rough. You know.
Right. And yeah, I guess the only caveat is like, now that I'm making more money than my last job, like I start to question why am I doing the YouTube game? But that's never been like my problem. Like,
Yeah.
making more money hasn't really changed my motivation of why I started this channel. So I guess
Yeah.
that's what I was trying to tell you, is like, just because you make more doesn't mean your motivation to do what you actually wanted to do will change. Like,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
it will.
no,
I don't know.
No,
But
no, it
for
won't.
me, it
Like,
hasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just hate working at a place where it's 9 to 5. I can't stand it. It like saps my soul. And so like, I need to, and it's because like I've been like self-employed for such a long time, completely different like field. So it's kind of hard to, you know, like equate the experience, but you know, I still want to have the freedom to do things when I want to do the things. And so to me, like, for instance, if like they hire me on Amazon and it was 9 to 5, and let's say it's like $40,000 more money, I'll be like, but I get to work whenever I want at my current job, even though I make less money. It'd be very hard sell for me, like, to
What if
I'll
it's
probably take it for like
$80,000 more?
Yeah, I'll take it.
See, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like,
Because
why
that
not?
would buy 100%, because that would buy time. That 80,000, like I could work on Amazon for 6 months, quit, and that's like a year that I bought that I could just not do anything. You know what I mean? Like,
Dude,
I'm not saying
that's
I
what
would
I'm
do
saying.
that. Yeah, 100%. No, I agree with you. I'm on the same page with
Yeah.
you. I just,
Yeah.
like it.
Because
like,
I just don't want you to
money.
undersell yourself. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh no,
here.
no, no! I
Like,
totally
I
get
know,
that.
yeah.
That I get. To me, it's not the money; it's the confidence. Like I will ask for as
Mm,
much money as I want. You know what I mean? But it's 100%
yeah,
true. It makes
dude.
sense. I
This
know.
live stream is
Woo,
lit.
hold
You got
on.
11 people watching.
Woo was saying hello. I know, like they're dropping off like flies probably because it's bad time in certain places, but or super early morning. It's fine. I just want to have a great conversation with you. Always a pleasure
Yeah,
to have
man.
you on.
I miss talking to you, bro. Like it's. I feel like it's been. I don't know. We just. Everyone's just been kind of doing their own thing, and everyone's been
Dude,
busy.
I
So
keep
it's
telling
been
you. I
tough.
keep telling you. You listen. I'm gonna
I
listen.
don't even
Don't
see
take
you
it
on
the
Coder
wrong way.
Foundry's channel. You know.
Dude, because like I sleep at that time, because my work schedule's been work till like 3 a.m. sleep till 12, 1. You know, that's what I'm saying. When you don't have a normal 9 to 5, you have the flexibility. But I tell you many times, you got to do live stream. You got to do live stream. I tell you all the time. But you know what? You got to go after those big YouTubers. You know.
Dude, I don't know what it is. Like, maybe I don't even really reach. I mean, I do reach out, but not really. I mean,
Yeah.
all of them I just consider like good friends and people I would just hang out with, and you included, big or small. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I get it.
you
That's
know,
fine.
you know my personality, and
Yeah.
apparently there's someone that doesn't like me on YouTube, but
You
like
gotta tell me who it is
at
later.
this, yeah, we'll
Oh
talk
wait, is
about
that
who
the
it
same
is.
person before?
What?
Forget it. I'll talk about it later.
Yeah, no. But what I'm saying is like generally I'm just myself, and
Yeah.
regardless of big or small, and maybe I'm just a little fortunate, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I like. Yeah, no. For me,
I
like,
just think with like just networking, right? I mean,
yeah,
this is what I even tell like for software developers that do networking. It's like never make it transactional, and if you can build genuine relationships,
yeah,
you could ask
exactly.
for favors.
So
But
I guess it's like I don't like a lot of people, so that's my problem. Like coding phase, I want to have on my channel. I want to go on his channel, and he showed interest. So it's just been issue of like trying to schedule something. But there's
he's
people that I
hard to
will never.
schedule with.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
really hard to schedule
There's
with.
people like, and I told him, look, just go live and call me at the minute, whatever. But like, there's people that I would never invite, even if they pay me money. Like, you know, not mentioning any names.
You mind not be named?
Not named because I don't want to put people out, but you know, some people, you know, it's just because like
Yeah, I
for
realize some
me,
people aren't just gonna jive with each
yeah,
other
for
for
me,
sure.
like
Yeah.
if I can't be friends with you in real life, I will never talk to you like online. So if you look at all my previous guests, out of all of them, like I could be friends with. You know, and some people like you had some questionable guests. Yeah, I would actually be friends with them in real life because they might be questionable, but they're not two-faced. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
So like to me,
mm.
that's I'm not saying I'm calling anybody two-faced. You know,
Maybe you are.
two-faced Tommy. That's like, you know, if you're smart enough, you could put that together. But like you know, it is what it is. Like
Yeah.
I'm too old to talk to people for sake of like a transactional only. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know, so for me, like I
And
only want to deal with people who I genuinely able to be friends with in real life. Like I know I could have lunch with you and everybody
yeah,
else I talk to, like I know like you know, it's so that's at
I've
least been
actually
my compass.
I've actually been pleasantly surprised. Like some people, based on my like initial thoughts, have actually grown on me, which has is very hard to do, especially since I'm from New York.
Yeah.
But there are certain people that like I know I've talked to you about it and stuff. Like it's kind of surprising to see how I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to see the positive in it of like why my viewpoint has changed, and maybe they're just like seeing me as like a vessel to get more exposure to themselves. Who knows? But I like to always look at the positive and then just get screwed over later. But I obviously the best impressions for me have been the ones that I've been able to just jive with immediately. But some people have definitely grown on me where I'm just like, okay, like I feel like I could trust you and I'll like give you the benefit of the doubt. But I don't know. After experiencing what I went through with that one dude, I'm just like, nah,
Yeah.
I'm good.
It's funny, like actually I've been ignoring like the comments a little bit, but hey everybody. But I was gonna say, just looking at some people here, like what I've been recently enjoying is talking to people from my community and literally just asking them to show me what they're building.
Mhm.
Not to be like, oh my God, what are you building? To be like, oh, that's how they did it. Like for me to actually learn something. I was like, I have this resources of people that do different stacks, different projects. And instead of me being like, this is what I do, this is what I do, I'm like, what do you do? Why did you do it? And I'm like, so like use that as a learning experience and genuinely engage with people and talk like programmers. And I like, to me, that's interesting. So to talk about like, not saying that it's all YouTubers, but there's people that YouTube, you have a persona, you're a YouTuber, and you just talk about YouTuber stuff. And like, I can't do that because that's not interesting to me. Like, I
No,
would start a different channel than this if that's what I wanted to do, you know? So,
that's true. It's a fine line. I mean, YouTube.
yeah,
I'm starting to realize there has to be a little bit of like quote unquote like playing the game a little bit,
yeah,
because the reality is you are investing a lot of time, and
yeah,
like if you want to grow your audience to, I don't know, like sell that course or have a self-sustaining business,
yeah.
you might have to play a game a little bit, but you're also providing value when you're
So,
able to, I don't know,
yeah.
sell that course or help people become developers. It's hard to
But like,
grasp
there's
that good
different like
balance.
ways
The
of
coding
doing
phase
it.
does it
Like,
well.
yeah, Coding Face does it well. Coder, who just recently announced that she's doing full-time YouTube. Her videos are amazing. She's phenomenal, but she doesn't like, she plays the YouTube game, but she doesn't play it at a cost of anybody else. Like, she does it properly, and she really likes to entertain, educate, and she does an awesome channel. So I think like, from a standpoint that's like whatever that other guy you mentioned, Fluke, whatever, like he has a certain
look.
reason, like, yeah, like why what he wants, and you know, like that's fine. Like there's plenty of people to do stuff. And so what I realized, to grow a successful business on YouTube that makes bajillion dollars, you don't need to be a popular YouTuber. It's just some people, that's what they want to do. They want to be a popular YouTuber. I was talking to somebody that said like, with like, I'm a part of this group. Like, the truth is, if I actually listen and took their guidance, my channel would explode. But I'm just like doing my channel the way I want to do. But I'm part of this like group for YouTube.
I'm in that group.
Huh?
Right? Is it the same group or is it a different group?
It's not for developers. It's like for marketing and stuff like that. And I forgot what I was gonna go with that. Oh,
sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it's fine. What I was gonna go with there is that I talked to people there who have 25,000 like subscribers, and they're making like, you know, $12,000 a month from their business. That's around like, you know, and so like they have a good service, and their YouTube is an avenue how they promote their service and sell their services. And so like they know what they want, they know their why. And so you don't need to be a YouTuber to make money, unless you want to be a YouTuber to make money, or you have a business that uses the power of YouTube. And I'm kind of hoping to build a business that uses the power of YouTube, kind of like, you know, Coding Face. You know, his business is his courses he sells. You know, he doesn't make, like, he makes some money from YouTube, but percentage wise,
yeah, YouTube makes it
it's
nothing
courses.
compared to Coding Face.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
Coding Face is where, I mean, every intro, every mid-roll, he's like literally a living ad for his own business.
Yeah,
so,
that's kind of what you gotta do. But at the
and
same
nothing wrong
time,
with that. Yeah.
But what I gotta say to him, he, like, I hate like pushy salespeople, and he's so good at doing like soft sell. Like, he doesn't push at all. You're almost like, I want to buy your course because you don't want me to buy your course, kind of type of deal.
Honestly,
You know?
I have his yearly course and I haven't used it once.
Yeah, I used to be a member. I did monthly though. I didn't do the whole at one time. But
Yeah, I mean,
it's good. He's got some
I don't
good
know why I bought
tutorials.
the
He's got good
yearly,
tutorials.
but
He's got
it
good
is what it
tutorials.
is.
Yeah. You know, it makes sense.
Just gotta show the support, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No,
I'll talk to him, and if you ever want him on your show, I can't guarantee anything, but I'll
no,
let
I
him
don't
know.
want.
I'm
No,
sure
no.
you talked to him already, right?
So he said, yeah, we'll set something up, and then I think he got busy. We got to
Yeah,
like
he's a
that,
busy
like, let's
dude.
shake hands, and we're kind of in the process of shaking hands to schedule something, but we just we just not in the same place. We're just like, so close. He's not even doing this. He's not even doing this. He's just like reaching, and I'm reaching, and it's just like the time is not there. But just bug him You know.
Or I mean, you just yeah, he's hard to get a hold of.
Yeah, no, it's
I mean,
fine.
he's a
Like
busy dude for
it's gonna
sure.
happen at some point for sure. I'm not worried. Um,
I mean, you're
Dennis
getting some
Ivy.
big hitters on your show, right? Like with the
Dennis
instructor and
Ivy
all
is
that
my
stuff.
man. Another one, entrepreneurial all the way. Like a lot of times people like, oh, I can't make money. Like it's everything is hard. I'm like, you think Dennis Ivy wakes up and he thinks that? No, he's like, I'm gonna crush the day. I'm gonna do what it takes. Joe Santos, same thing, and that's why I like Dennis. I like Joe. I like because you guys know it's not an answer in your vocabulary. Like same with you. You're gonna do your thing until you succeed.
It's like how?
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. You're asking how can I do this? Not like why can't I do this? Like it's just like it's phenomenal. But yeah, Dennis, by the way, created a nice Python course. That was the exact idea of the thing that I wanted to build, but this is the thing that I want to say. If you're an entrepreneur, you don't come up with ideas, you act on ideas. So he built it before I did, and you know what? 100% credit for him. And it's awesome.
I'm
awesome.
only shaking my head because these guys are machines, man. Like I don't know how they are able to just keep pumping out the courses, pumping out the content. They're just they're machines.
How many Dennis Ivies are there online? Or like it's so funny because everybody's like, oh, I know Dennis Ivy. Oh, I know Joe Santos. Oh, I know like Brad Travesty. That's like 10 people from bajillion people. So they're doing something right. They're just in every, they just stand out. And so I want to one day be who's that guy? Paul. Yeah, Paul's like one of the top, whatever the heck you want to call it. But
I mean, you got to change your last name because no one's gonna know how to pronounce it. Like there's
fine.
Joe Santos.
That's how I know I succeeded.
There's Dennis Ivy. There's Alex Lee. Like everything is like 5 letters or less. You can't just Paul blah blah blah.
That's why it's coding after 30. I'm gonna change my name legally to coding 30. That's it.
That's why mine's
after
Tech
it's
Rally.
gonna be my middle name.
My name's too common.
Rally.
My name's too common.
Yeah, Alex who? There's like 1,000 Alex. Alex Lee.
I know, exactly.
I'm friends with like 20 Alex Lees, to be honest with
I know,
you.
Right? So I mean, I can't even make my website like alexlee.com.
Oh no, you can't. You can't.
alexlee1.com, alexlee2.com.
No, you can't.
Literally.
You can't. It's such a common name. Like everybody has Lee. Like it's funny.
Yeah,
which is funny to me. There's someone by my last name in California who's not related to me at all, which blew my mind. Yeah, Dennis. Yeah, we already. Yep. Dennis's real name right there, Ivanov. Right there.
Oh, dude, you see
legit name.
Paul K. There you go.
No, but
K-Y.
I could use my real name. That people won't pronounce it at all. My first name is Pavel, and my last name is my middle name is Yevgenyevich. And last name is Absurasulov. So Pavel Yevgenyevich Absurasulov. That was before my mom remarried. So that's a legit name. If I use that name, people will be like, gone, forget it, So.
Yeah, that's not gonna. Unless you could get like a Russian audience in your YouTube channel, then that's like another.
Yeah,
story.
But the problem with Russians, they're all smarter than I am. Like legit Russians, it's like off the boat Asians. They all got math degrees. It's the same thing with Russians. Like they're all way smarter. So I'm not gonna be able to compete with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
Yeah. Wait, are you super random? Are you on TikTok at all or no?
No, come on. I made one video, like of me dancing to a stupid song, and I just posted it for like to troll my daughter because she would be like super embarrassed because she's like 22. She don't want TikTok dad dancing on TikTok, but it was hilarious.
You should. I was gonna say, I think a lot of your long form content can be clipped up for.
Yeah, I gotta do that. I just don't have time.
Form.
CS Project says, "What's up, guys?" I know he had a lot of questions, and we kind of kept talking. Sorry for. He's got to sleep tomorrow. Bro, thank you so much for helping
me. We should all sleep.
Learn some new stuff, and always glad to have you on this channel. And whenever you release your project, let us know. We'd love to see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's gonna release their project first? Coding After 30 or?
No, he's almost done. He's almost done. I'm gonna milk it. I need content for YouTube. It's actually gonna be an ongoing series for the rest of the channel, bro. By that time, we'll use holograms and virtual reality when it's finished.
Man, no, it's hard, man. Like the course creation stuff. I don't know how. Maybe it's because content I don't know, maybe it's because they do this full time, but I'm so exhausted after work, and I barely have enough time doing content creation.
Yeah,
And
the issue with
yeah,
I know I might hate on a lot of people, but I still give them credit because a pure content creator, a lot of times you're not making content you want to make, you're making content that has been proven to be blessed by the algorithm gods, and sometimes it's not exactly what you want to do. And so I spoke to a lot of content creators where they're like, I'm making this video just because I know it's going to pay the bills, like, like I gotta do what I
yeah,
gotta do, and that's why I
dude.
want to have a
Like,
job outside of
not
it.
to talk about like monetization stuff, but literally YouTube makes me nothing. Literally, my monthly income is based off one video, which everything else is giving me nothing.
At least you have a monthly income, you know. That's good.
And I'll tell you what the secret recipe is off stream, but it's just so it's not. The thing is, I think it's an interesting topic, but it's not necessarily what I want to talk about all the time. So YouTube really is like an avenue to, like, I guess, promote your business. But since we don't have a business, it's really hard to, like,
Yeah.
why am I doing this? Why am I spending
Restarting a
hours
business.
making content? But
Yeah,
as long as you know
web
your
dev
why, that's
junkie
really
right there
important.
says
Yeah.
when content creation just becomes another 9 to 5 jobs, that's when things are gonna be
So
rough.
true. Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
wanna have a business around YouTube, but not be like a YouTuber, just, you know. But everything is hard. Like, like a lot of people like, why are you so excited about coding? I'm like, because I only been doing it for like 3 years, like 2.5 years professionally, whatever. Like, my job that I used to have was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA instructor. For a lot of people, it's a dream job. They're like, all you do is practice martial arts and Jiu-Jitsu. This is awesome. I'm like, I did it for 17 years. Like, I'm bored. I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I just want to be a student. So that's why I'm excited about coding. So anything you do for
Dude,
a long time.
I'm actually gonna I haven't made a video yet, but based off what Dorian made and the things I've noticed, I'm gonna make a video about, are developers actually happy?
Yeah.
Because basically, and I'll just give you the rundown since there's only like this late night stream, not many people are watching. But
Yeah,
basically, what I'm going to be talking about is.
Hold on, hold your thought for a second. I just wanna, Dennis. I used to see Brad's and other people's success and honesty. It hurts so bad not to be at their level. My day started at 5 p.m. after I was done with work, and I wanted that freedom so bad. And yes, you're burning the candle at both ends. You're sacrificing, and when you make it, the most important part is that, like, if you made it, you won't forget the struggle. But it's like a lot of people don't see it, so they think like Dennis just woke up one day and Dennis. You're lucky to have that YouTube channel. You're lucky you were able to sell that site. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
what
lucky,
a lot of people
lucky,
perceive.
of course.
Poor bastard probably didn't sleep for 10 years. It's like, it's a lot of work. But okay, so what are you gonna, like? You were, sorry to interrupt you, but
No, I mean that's a good point with Dennis Ivey, and a lot of people see the glory.
Yeah,
they don't see the effort and
crying.
work
He's
involved.
got the scars,
Yeah. No, but I'm gonna make a video about, are developers actually happy? And you see that kind of with the Dorian's video, but even before Dorian's video, I saw like Mayuko, Jarvis, all these software developers that work at companies. All of a sudden, they are starting to think about, like, am I actually happy? Am I happy being a software developer, going into the office and writing code and whatever? And then I realized, you know what the problem is? It's because before they were software developers, you couldn't really afford to think about, am I happy or not?
Yeah.
Or maybe
exactly.
you're like a college student going into work for the first time, and that's like your job. But like people around my age and your age, like getting into software development was not about like, oh, am I happy or not happy? It was about, damn, my life sucks because I could barely pay the bills, or like my body is hurting.
For me, it was the opposite, to be honest. It's just that, I was paying my bills really well before I became a software engineer.
Yeah.
Because I had to start from the bottom.
But
I get
the thing that I'm wondering now, it's like, you never think about those things when you're not a software developer, because you're just trying to like survive majority of the times. And then once you kind of quote unquote made it, say you're like a mid to senior level developer
Yeah.
making 6-figure salary and everything is good. Like everything is good. But when everything becomes good, you start questioning, am I actually happy, right?
And
So I'm gonna,
yeah,
yeah,
it's a very good topic, and a lot of people might not kind of like
understand it.
believe you or understand it, and that's
Yeah,
because they didn't talk to enough senior developers. I
right.
know a lot of people that I would kill to have their job, and
Exactly.
they're like they're just like depressed almost, and it's like what, how, and why, but it does happen, and part of it could be like you forget how good you have it, or maybe you realize you worked so hard to get there that you sacrifice maybe certain hobbies you had, or you realize you didn't really pursue your passion per se, or the thing that you're now working on. Yeah, it's in the field of programming, but it might not be something you're passionate about, you know? So,
Yeah, and it's one of those things. In some ways, I would say it's a privilege to be able to think about that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
To
and
think
then,
like when you're not making money, or like when times are really tough, obviously you know that you're not going to be happy because it's freaking annoying to just be like, holy crap, I'm not gonna pay the bills this month. But when everything is actually good and you think about that thing, it's a privilege to think about like if you're happy or not. So I mean, I might go into a little bit of this like deep
yeah,
dive
yeah,
into
yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
happiness really means, but I think it might be an interesting topic to talk about. It probably won't do good news, honestly, but it is what it is. I want to talk about it.
Yeah, like there's one comment. I think the competition is different today, and that's definitely
True.
true. Yeah, and Web Dev Junkie says, when I start asking those questions, I take a vacation and quickly start to miss the problem solving. Yeah, and that is true. Like sometimes we just get, caught up in our routine. Maybe, I'm not saying it's complacent, but we're doing the same thing over and over again. That we start
Hmm.
having like those first world problems, so then we forget how nice we have it, and so we need to take a little break and what have you. Um,
It is a first world problem. It really is. And I mean, that's what I'm kind of noticing with the YouTuber, like people that start off on YouTube as developers that just go like the Mayukos and all of those things. And like, granted, they did put in a lot of work, but you start questioning yourself of like, oh, is working on Netflix really making me happy?
Yeah, but
Such a like, people
they're
die to
so
be
far
working.
ahead on their YouTube journey, they're quitting and becoming full content creators. And then 10 years from now, they'll be like, oh, content creation.
Am I really happy?
Am I really happy? I guess you'll never be happy. You'll never be happy.
It's like in some regards, like no job will ever really make you happy. You know what I mean?
Listen, this is going to be bad, but I'm just going to say it just because I'm an idiot. But it's only 9 people, so it's not going to be that bad. Listen, I'm happy when I sit on the toilet and don't have any pain, okay? So you guys there complaining, go like just shove it. That's all I gotta say. If I can sit down and just pray to God that Satan's not coming out of my butt, I'm like, yes, this is great.
This is
Uh,
just no, but no, that's what I mean. Like when you could just think about the simple things in life and not have to worry about it. Like
exactly,
I don't know.
exactly.
I'm in a position where I know maybe I've been doing software development for like 6 years, but there are moments where I do think about that. But at the same time, I'm like, wait, dude, like you quit your job, which was even significantly worse than what it was there,
Yeah, but
to
I
what I am
feel
now.
like, yeah,
I'm like way happier.
web dev approves my sense of humor. Sorry, like I should have a separate channel. I don't want to get, like completely demonetized, but like, yeah, I
Something
always
after
joke.
30.
Well, a lot of my friends are like, Paul, you just got to start doing stand up. So one day I'm like, if I have free time, I'm going to go to open mic, but that's just going to be like exercise in embarrassment, because that's also really hard. But yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy. I think, yeah. But I was going to
Do you
say,
think that'll be an interesting topic to talk about?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But what I would say, like, if I was a psychiatrist and I was to analyze you, and it could be completely off topic, but I think you always wrestle with this idea of having a job and then doing something more on your own. It doesn't have to be specifically YouTube, but you have
Hmm.
this like drive, like, what if I do this? It could be completely off topic, but I think like, because I have that too from the standpoint that I want to do my own thing. You know what I mean? and it's kind of like that drive
Yeah.
to do it.
I think YouTube is like a gateway drug to
Yeah.
potentially doing your own thing. That's probably it.
Yeah, that's
It
probably
really
good.
is. It's like
I love
time
it.
allocation, right?
Eat your prunes, Paul. Man, prunes, a lot of, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, prunes, 100%
good.
recommended. The only issue is I'm also almost diabetic, and prunes have so much sugar, so I'm at a loss. I can't have prunes because it'll get my sugar levels up. But I need prunes to be able to not be in pain when I poop in the night. You know what I mean? So that's a dilemma I'm struggling with. That's why I'm not complaining about development, because that's a small problem compared to my bigger problem that I can't have prunes to ease my pain. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous.
We gotta clip this and put it into a short.
Yeah, this after hours streaming is ridiculous.
After hour streaming.
Yeah, I have so many streams, like so many good, like what, you know, like quotes, but I'm like, I'll never be able to like, you know, I need to create an AI that does that. That's like, that sounds stupid. Let's clip it, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, I volunteered to come on because I felt like it's just been so long since we just chat, and you know, like I'm always supporting you on the sidelines for sure. I want you to succeed.
Yeah.
Like we gotta raise this fake beef up so we can you know, grow our subscribers.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah. No, I
bro,
like it because
I'm almost at 3K, so you better hurry up, bro.
Dude, don't look at my subscribers. I'm sorry. Don't look at my subscriber count right now.
Come on, dude. I need you to be there with me. 2000.
No,
I'm
don't
at
look at my
2978.
subscriber. Don't look at it. I don't want you to cry. It was an accident. I didn't mean to do it.
I might lose motivation if you give up.
Hold on. Let me go. Let me look up coding after 30.
2.99. Dude, you have more than me.
Hold on a second. I told you, don't cry. Don't cry.
Oh my god, how do I need to catch up. Wait, what are you at? I'm at 2.98.
Does the love. I'm like, hold on, let me go to my place that gives me an accurate count. Your YouTube studio. Yeah, I didn't want to bring it up in our conversation because.
Oh my god, I gotta work harder.
I need two more to hit 3,000.
Holy moly! Everyone that's watching,
go subscribe
to his video.
Okay,
wait, how did you blow up so much? Because I could have sworn you were at like 2. Oh wow, you spiked.
Yeah, I got lucky. I put one video that a lot of people liked.
Oh, the tips on learning how to code.
Yeah,
that one.
Huge.
That one blew up.
Yeah, huge.
Congrats,
dude. His name alone was just like enough. I just gotta say his name all the time. No, he's an awesome guy, and I was just so blessed and happy that, you know, that happened.
Honestly, yes, it's well deserved, man. You deserve to.
No, Web Dev Junkie, don't give out my secret. Paul's been making secret subscribe bots. I actually have a friend in China that I'm like, don't even touch my YouTube channel because I actually wanted to have a normal. But he's like, if you want 1 million subs, just let me know. I have a whole farm. We'll do it overnight. And he's like, I'm like, dude, don't talk to me about that. I don't want to know. Can't. And so I'm like, I'm gonna build it the hard way through relationships. You know? Yeah, but the truth is subscribers don't mean anything. It's the watch time.
Yeah.
I mean, it really depends what your goal is in the watch time. But you know, so
dude, now I'm hungry. I'm motivated.
Didn't you hear me at the beginning of the stream kind of alluding to the fact like how you're my barometer and how like blah blah, and then I said something like, I forgot exactly, but I was kind of hinting at it. But now that you ask, I was like, all right, you know, saying how I was saying how if I get more subscribers than you, it was gonna like light a fire underneath your ass and just gonna be like boom 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 boom. I did say that early in the stream. That I'm gonna clip and fine, but I didn't want to blatantly say it yet because I know how hard you work, and I got, you know.
Man, I mean, I know how hard you work too, and it's well deserved. I'm glad it blew up because you deserve to have at least one good video.
It's true. I'm not even gonna deny it.
No, I mean, dude, it's not easy, man. Like, I'm looking at your stats. You made 150 videos. That's a lot. In your time? I made 166. So like, we're definitely.
It makes sense. But to be honest,
put in the work.
But that's what I kind of wanted to see. Like, I kind of wanted like an average, like how many people, like videos you have, how many subscribers you have, and I think you're like literally like, you know, even in terms of like the work we put in. And to me, it's kind of good because it showcases that, I mean, obviously you could get lucky and blow up if YouTube likes you or like whatever. But like I think you and I like are good channels to compete with each other because we literally very similar stats and same type of content.
But more than stats, if anything, it's showing consistency, which I think is really important for development, and in general.
And then like I watched like you had a couple of dips, I had a couple of dips, and I remember those are the weeks where you and I didn't do enough content, and it's just like, oh, consistency is a thing, it's a thing, and so I'm like, okay, and so but
the thing is, I just don't want to be like succumb myself to the YouTube algorithm in some regards. And that's the balance that is really hard at times, but we'll see what happens. But no, I'm really happy for you. 2.99. Let's go. Coding after 30. Let's get to 3K, guys.
Somebody just subscribed from the stream. So I need one more.
I unsubscribed.
That's all right. When you eventually subscribe, it's gonna be 3001.
Yeah, let me know when it's 2.99, so I'll be a 3,000 subscriber.
No, it's at 2.99 right now.
No, refresh it.
Oh, you unsubscribed, you bastard. Oh,
what is it at right now?
That's 29998. Come on, okay.
298 or
2998? Yeah, 2,998. Hold on a second. Everybody who's watching, Jesus, are you guys subscribed?
Let me be your 3,000 subscriber.
Yeah,
let's try that. Let's get that.
Yeah,
3,000
change your title to streaming until 3,000. Yeah, that's a good idea, but I honestly at some point we'll need to sleep. We have 9 viewers. Out of 9 viewers, if you are all subscribers already, thank you. But
dude, I have an idea. I'm gonna go onto my other YouTube account and I will
that's cheating though. That's cheating. That's not right.
Fine. I won't do it then.
I'm gonna refresh again. Okay, did you unlike or did you like?
Subscribe, you mean, or?
Yeah, are you still unsubscribed?
Yeah, I'm unsubscribed.
Hold on a second.
Are you at 2.99? Oh shit! Okay, I'll do it. 1.
Hold on. 2. You did it?
I'll do it now. Did it?
Do it now. I'm gonna refresh. I don't care if tomorrow it changes. Tech Rally, the man himself, number 3,000. We celebrated together. I knew there was a reason why you came on the show. I am so proud of myself. But dude, you're so close. You're so close. Everybody go subscribe to Tech Rally's channel right now. Dude.
Nah, it's okay. I don't mind. This is your day, dude. Honestly.
Monumental day.
This is amazing.
Dude, but I appreciate it. Have you in my company hit this huge milestone, and on top of that, we're doing it together. Like I said, we're gonna keep climbing to the top, take over YouTube, make it happen. When I go to sleep, just unsubscribe so I can do it again tomorrow.
No, congratulations, dude.
No,
it's well deserved. And I'm glad the video blew up, because if anything, people need to be more aware of your channel, because you do a lot of lot of good content.
I think I'll get there.
I
think I'll get there. Yeah, I think I get there. Yeah. Not to be like, oh, I'm the greatest, which I'm not, but I think people like the stupidity of the show, and so eventually people will come, I hope, or not, whatever. I don't care. I'll be here regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got this, bro. Congrats, man. I'm glad I got to watch you hit that 3K and onwards to 4K and 5K and 20K.
I just want to get to a point where I'm so huge where certain individuals be like, hey, can I come on your show? I'll be like $10,000.
Oh, dude, did I tell you I did a sponsored video?
No, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, or they didn't pay me anything. They gave me equipment, but
that's awesome. No, that's good. I'm waiting for that day to happen.
I feel kind of bad because my channel's not that great, and the fact that they gave me money.
No, but it
only got 400
it still makes
views.
sense. It still makes but they're probably thinking okay, we'll start with him now. As his channel grows, we'll keep doing more and more. But I don't know. I had somebody reach out to me with some good stuff, and the products they sell are so expensive, and I wanted the free thing, but I'm like, I'm not gonna do it on my channel because most of my viewers are not gonna buy it. It's I forgot what it's called. It's Glove Made or something. I don't know if it's like.
Oh yeah, they reached out to me. That's the video I did.
Oh, that's awesome. That stuff like is
No,
so amazing. I
it's
wish
one
my
of
whole
those.
desk was that. All that stuff. I love all their products, but I'm just like, I can't afford that stuff.
I agree, but
But
now that I use it, I'm like, holy crap! It's like an Apple Watch, right? It's like I couldn't afford it, but in some ways I could afford it. I
No,
get it, but
yeah.
I just choose not to.
No,
But
all
now
of
that
their
I
stuff
have
is
it,
amazing. All of their stuff is
Yeah.
amazing. All of their stuff is amazing.
just-
It's a great company.
dude,
They make
it's
quality products
mm-hmm.
that I want to have, and like I almost wanted to be like take advantage of them and just be like, just send me all your free shit. I'll put it all over my desk. But you know, like
You're a better guy than I am.
no.
'Cause
It's just
I
like
loved
it's
it.
just and also because one of my friends, he would hate me if I promoted them, and I'm like, you know, it's fine.
Why?
Because he's pissed off that their product's so expensive, and he wants it too. And he's like, if you promote him, you at least have to give it to me. I'm like, no. And he's like, then you can't promote him.
Dude, that's so
but-
weird. Like, why would they target our channels? Because I know some bigger YouTube channels, they don't even like they haven't reached out to them, but they reach out to us. Maybe they see potential.
Yeah, it's weird, probably, you know. And at the same time, it's like free exposure, you know. It's like, so they do their math. I'm sure it like worked out, you know. And so
But now with smaller channels, it just doesn't. Yeah, it seems odd.
I would say like it's probably like, so here's the way I look at it. It's the same way if you bought a Toyota when you were younger, you'll probably end up buying a Toyota again, and then buying out your third car is gonna be Toyota. So I use this resume service, and I have their affiliates, but I just never use them, and I think I should because that's what my resume was based off, and it really helped me, and it's so good. And my channel was so small, I didn't feel like plugging something in, but like from now, anytime I don't give my affiliate link, but when somebody asks me, where'd you got your resume? I tell them the website, you know, because it's quality resume. You could tell by my resume, you know, but
I mean, up to you, but I feel like adding an affiliate link, there's nothing really wrong with it.
I started with some Udemy stuff and some Amazon stuff, but all the stuff I recommend is stuff I actually bought already. So I'm only recommending like all the books that I have in my description, like I have them on my desk. So if someone's like, you don't have that book, I'll be like, oh, fuck yourself, and then show it to them, you know. Not saying that I have to do that, but that's kind of like what I feel like I want to do, at least initially.
No, that makes sense.
It's not to promote stuff that I don't use.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense. That's why I only have a Hire.com affiliate link and a Coding Phase one. Other than that, I
was
don't
really good. Yeah, and Coding Phase, you know, is good.
Yeah.
I'm not like this with Coding Phase yet, so I don't get them big paychecks.
It's not that much.
So, whatever.
I need to promote, but no, Hire.com has always been really solid for me. I don't know why.
Yeah, I gotta talk to them, reach out, because I would support Hire.com because it's a great website to get like opportunities for sure.
You don't even need to reach out. You just literally need to sign in, and there's a little section that says share.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you have to do. And like,
I'm gonna hook up Hire.com.
I mean, it's hard to get in though. That's the thing. Like, I've had a lot of my people that I did the link to, and they got rejected. So, I mean, I try to be honest about the realistic.
Yeah, no, it's hard. Like,
possibilities, but if you get in, it's so nice. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just got Amazon, but I haven't been doing it, so I got to start doing it more. And then I got Udemy, just because there's some courses that I love.
I think you said you got an interview at Amazon. I was like, oh, no, let's go.
No, I didn't tell you the story. So I was about to get an interview, and the lady is like, I'm gonna send you the first project to complete and return to us. And then she's like, by the way, it says you went to this university. And then I responded, oh, I never graduated. And then she never responded back to me. So I'm like, all right, I guess you let Tech Rally get in. I didn't put that in my email. No, just kidding. But I don't care. Like, to me, like, I don't want to work at Amazon. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been fun to go through the experience and talk about it. Just because I feel like it's like where I am right now, I'm perfectly happy with my job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to
Just
me,
as long as you're happy, man. That's the most
yeah,
important
to
thing.
me, like to be able to, like right now, if I wanted to, I could work or not work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, that's just way better. If Amazon said you could work at whatever hours you want, then I'll be like, be fine. Yeah, let's do this. But for me, like the freedom to work whenever is amazing. And I'm more productive because I have times where I'm like, I need to take a break. And instead of being at work where I would have to force myself to figure it out or try something else or like whatever, like I could walk away, go for a walk, go like whatever. So if my current boss loves me and doesn't fire me and pays my checks, like I'll stay there for a while, you know?
Yeah.
And the company has potential to grow, by the way, because I'm building like a new product, and if it takes over and there's more users, you know, like I will get like a nice bonus paycheck,
Nice.
which would be nice.
Well, man, I am a little tired, but I'm
No,
so
I know
glad
it's like 1 hour later for you. Yeah, I should get going anyway. Dude, thank you so much for coming on. I always enjoy talking to you because like I know we don't like see each other in real life, but I'm like, yeah, like Tech Rally, my friend, you know, like I would.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. When I'm in New York, I'm definitely gonna check you out, hang out with you.
Yeah. Let's get some lunch. Maybe you'll see me drink and coffee. We could get some coffee.
And
I know you drink coffee.
Yeah, coffee.
I know you drink coffee,
all
so
the
let's
time.
get some coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, no, coffee that we could drink, whatever, that's fine. Yeah, New York is good. I was gonna say though, they are like very super tight about what you could do there. Not like Texas. In Texas, you could do whatever you want, go anywhere. No.
New York is not bad. New York is not bad.
Yeah,
you just need to show your vaccine card.
that's like in the back in the communist day. And I'm just kidding. It's like in Russia where you had to show your tattoo. Like you're like, okay, here I am. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I think they got to do what they got to do. It's a huge city. They want to, you know, there's so many people.
Yeah. All right, brother. I got to peace out. Talk to the missus and yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot, and always a pleasure.
Yeah, let's connect soon.
Have a good one. Yeah, we'll do.
All right, bye.
Bum. Hey, that was amazing stream, and yeah, web dev junkie, if you're still here, change your title stream. Yeah, we already talked about. Boom, congrats. No, thank you. Hey guys, if you guys hung out this late, this was like the longest stream I think I did. I didn't want to go that long, but I haven't talked to Tech Rally in forever, and for all of you guys, lots of love to you guys, and really appreciate you guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.